Francis on the right. Couldn't ask for a better day here in Atlanta, Georgia. The kick goes deep into the end zone. Alonzo Williams fields it, and it'll go as a touchback. And so the Rams will come on offense 1st and 10 in this ball game. Quarterback Steve Dills will lead the Rams, capable in his performance, and of course he's one of the regular quarterbacks for the Atlanta Falcons. They'll go with Leonard Wingate, Dwayne Morris, and Buddy Moore, who had 3 sacks in the last 2 games. Tim Green, Aaron Brown, Jim Laughlin, and Rich Cranack, 4 familiar linebackers. Charles Huff and Leon Thomason are the cornerbacks. Gary Moss, the strong safety, and Mike Lush is the free safety. So Steve Dills, the quarterback, the 9-year veteran, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Will throw on 1st down, and the pass is complete to Malcolm Moore, a tight end, and Moore is knocked out of bounds, picking up some 6 or 7 yards on the play. Rest of the offense for the Rams, Charles White and Cullen Bryant are in the backfield. Stacy Mobley and Philip Smith are the wide receivers. They like Mobley very much. Up front, it's Goebel, Murray, Davey Tuiasosopo, Taylor, and Thomas, and James McDonald, the tight end for the Rams. Gain of 8 yards on that first play. Call it 7. It's 2nd down and 3. And the give is to Charles White. And White hurdles the defense and will get a 1st down for the Rams. White gained 166 yards, a career high last week against Pittsburgh. Averaged 5 yards a carry. He's been around a while in the NFL, and the stop is made by Mike Lush. So it'll be 1st down for the Rams on their own 32-yard line.
Johnny Robinson says, look, I want to come out in this game and I want to run the football. I want to eat the clock up. I want to score touchdowns. I want to go home with a victory. Simple as that.
He needs one because he knows the 49ers are playing today with a 3-1 record. 1st and 10, and he's using 3 backs, a full house backfield now for the Rams. And the pitch goes to Charles White, tries to reverse his way, and he can't go anywhere. Dwayne Morris prevented the cut back in, and Jim Laughlin aided on the stop. There's Dwayne Morris out of Southeast Louisiana, originally an Eagles free agent.
Morris' first start in these replacement games, the original starters, Emmanuel Weaver, number 68, he had an ankle injury after the 49er game, so just as of yesterday, they moved Weaver back and brought Morris up.
Loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12, back to the 30-yard line. Cullen Bryant and Charles White in the backfield. And here's White again, and Charles White finds an opening and busts forward to the 40-yard line. Jim Laughlin makes the tackle. Gain of 10 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Well, there's the advantage that the Rams have going into this game, Terry.
Well, this is what Marion Campbell was saying. Look, replacements, fine. We got 1 guy, you have 11. You know, 11 minus 1, that's 10. You got a 10-guy advantage on us.
It'll be 3rd down and 2. Bryant, Francis, and White are all back there, and the pitch goes to Charles White, and White is stopped for no gain by Dwayne Morris. And I've got to think, Terry, that the Falcons and Marion Campbell, and he's been around a long time as a coach, would know how to generate some incentive in this game, saying, look, they've got all the guns. Let's try and show what we can do.
That's true. Last week against the 49ers, 49ers were really held in check. It was a 20-10 score, and then Marion Campbell forced the 49ers to bring Montana and Clark back in to win the football game.
Dale Hatcher punts to Bradley, and the kick bounces dead at the 16. Milton Barney, that is, at the 16-yard line, a 44-yard kick. And the other advantage that the Rams have is that they have their regular kickers, Dale Hatcher and Mike Lansford. We'll be back. Let's take a look at the Rams' 3-4 defense. Alvin Wright, Greg Meisner, and Sean Miller are all regulars for the LA Rams club. Rick DiBernardo and Kyle Borland are the outside linebackers. Kyle Whittingham and Jim Collins, who's very much a regular and outstanding player. Reggie Richardson and Kirby Jackson, the corners. Nolan Cromwell, the veteran, and strong safety Craig Rutledge starts today at free safety. And here's Eric Kramer, who started against the Pittsburgh Steelers and then was back up last week. And Rick Badonic bucks forward and gets to the 26-yard line. Gain of 5 yards on the first play of scrimmage by the Atlanta Falcons. Stopped by Borland and DiBernardo, the outside backers. The rest of the offense, Rick Bodonik, who played with the Redskins last year, John Kamada, who had been with the Rams, Milton Barney and Lenny Taylor are the wide receiver. Doug Mackey, Lawrence Jackson, James Henley, Pat Saindon, and Randy Clark up front. Sylvester Bird is the tight end. Second down and 4 at the 22-yard line. Eric Kramer, the quarterback, has a big arm, and that's why he's in there over Jeff Van Rapport. His first pass is a short one, and it's tipped incomplete and was intended for Lenny Taylor.
One of the problems Atlanta's had in the last 6 games is, who are we going to start at quarterback? Look at this. Schonert, Archer, Campbell, Kramer started, Van Rapport started, now Eric Kramer's time again. So they haven't really been able to get settled, not only in the replacement games, Dick, but in the regular season with the regular guys in there.
Kramer led 3 scoring drives against the San Francisco 49ers, and that's why he's getting another shot. He was the ACC Player of the Year last year at North Carolina State. Third down and 4 at the 22-yard line. Kamana lines up in the slot. And a penalty marker is down. Let's see if that is a delay of the game or what have you.
Delay.
It is a 5-yard penalty, so third down and 9 will be the situation for the Falcons as Kramer took too much time.
Last game for this young man, backed up. He's a rookie quarterback. Chance to show himself. Plays are being signaled in. It takes a while. They got the H-back, everybody going in motion. All of a sudden, that time on the clock just expires. It's gone.
Originally, Marion Campbell said, let's forget about the complicated H-back, the one-back offense. Let's go with 2. And after a while, it was so tough on the coaching staff, he says, let's simplify the one-back offense.
Really, you come in and practice one thing, and that's what you know. And then if you try to change from that, you not only mess the players up, you mess yourself up as coaches. Back to the H-back now.
Third down and 9, back to the 17-yard line. No score first quarter. Kramer, quick toss, and it's incomplete and almost nearly intercepted. And it was Kamana, the H-back, who, by the way, played for John Robinson at both USC and for the LA Rams. He was in their camp in 1984. Kramer's pass incomplete. It's fourth down. And Lewis Berry is in to kick for the Falcons, and he'll be punting from the 1-yard line. Berry is out of Florida State. Here comes the rush, gets the kick away, and a fine punt indeed. And back is Rutledge for the Rams, and it's out of bounds. And Terry, the Falcons really got out of big trouble because of the big kick by Lewis Berry of 50 yards.
Good kick, nice hang time, hit on the back of the ball, then knocked it forward. Good position there for the Falcons.
Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw back at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Each side has had an opportunity, and now Steve Dills will run the offense for the Rams in their second opportunity. Dills was acquired from the Minnesota Vikings for a 4th-round pick 3 years ago. He has started both strike games and completed 13 of 19 in last week's victory. Ball is on the 32-yard line of the Rams. In motion is James McDonald, the tight end. Dills is going to go up on top here. And the pass intended for Mobley, and a penalty marker down as Stacy Mobley, defended by Charles Hupp, was out of bounds, and he might have been interfered with inside the 30-yard line.
Gary Moss, the strong safety, on Mobley that time. Actually, this football was an underthrow.
Pass interference, number 28, first down.
It was an underthrown football as well as being out of bounds. So you got to ask yourself, on the left of your screen, you can see Dills throws the football extremely high, but he leads his man out of bounds, as you can see right there. 23 Moss is all over Mobley. No question that is pass interference.
And a 39-yard penalty gives the Rams a 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 29-yard line. Charles White going outside, pulls his way, and it takes 2 or 3 Falcons to bring him down at the 20. He's close to another first down. Shy of about a yard. It was Aaron Brown who made the stop on Charles White, and it's good to have a big gun. As Marion Campbell said, when you have the big guys at the skill position, it's tough to beat them.
White has always played well for Robinson, winning the Heisman Trophy at USC, running out of the eye, but he has always played well since he's rejoined Robinson. And once again, 166 yards last week. Good job that time of cutting back up inside and picking up 8-9 yards.
Second down and 1 at the 20-yard line. And Dill's going to his meat and potatoes man, White, who balks his way inside the 15-yard line, or to the 15, for another first down. Charles White, by the way, did lead the Rams with 3 touchdowns in preseason.
He's always performed well, and the thing about back, so many times you think of a running back, Dick, you think, well, give me a guy that's 6'3", 230 pounds, a guy that can not only run over people, but, you know, can jump in the air, make catches. But it seems so many times that the smaller backs are the most effective running backs, with, of course, the exception of Walker and Eric Dickerson of the Rams.
First down for the Rams on the Atlanta 15-yard line. White again, and he gets a couple this time. It was White who began his career with the Cleveland Browns, had his problems, stopped by Aaron Brown there, and of course was arrested on drug problems. So he is making the comeback and using the strike games to fortify his position with the LA Rams. And so far, all of the 7 rushing plays by the Rams have been run by Charles White. He's gained 29 yards. Second down and 7 on the 12. James McDonald in motion, and here's White. 8 running plays, and White inside the 5 finds no resistance. And the Rams, this is John Robinson's style of play. Another first down inside the 5. Once again, Aaron Brown on the stop.
Well, he's moved outside to the left. He's run extremely well to the right. But the thing that's very impressive about the running style here is that Robinson elects to go up inside of his guards, Murray and Taylor, and Tuiasosopo, the center, as they form an apex and drive everyone back, giving White lots of room to run.
For Atlanta, what do you do to stop Mr. White?
Call timeout.
Before it's too late.
That's right.
First and goal at the 4-yard line. Cullen Bryant is in the game to block for White. White inside the 5, maybe a yard to the 3-yard line, and that's all.
There's one thing about the offense that Robinson runs. It's not the type that is very imaginative, especially with his running game. He is in control, Robinson that is, of the running game, and Ernie Zampese is in control of the passing game. And the game is very simple. Give it to your back and let your big lineman just pick someone out and block them. Nothing fancy, no pulling, just straight ahead.
You see the time in the first quarter. The Rams are on a march here in a scoreless ball game. Second and goal on the 3-yard line. And it's Cullen Bryant. Check that, John Francis, the first back in. And there might have been a fumble, but even if there was, it was recovered by the Rams. So the first carry by a player other than Charles White for the Rams is John Francis, who carried just once against the Steelers last week. Cullen Bryant was in the game for 1 play and goes out of the game. He had been the assistant strength coach, and we'll have more about Cullen Bryant in the odyssey that brought him to the Rams during this strike. White goes out as well. It'll be third and goal at the 2. John Francis, the lone back, and they got 3 tight ends in there.
Now's the time for the play action.
And he dumps it off to Francis, and Francis gets in for the touchdown.
Well, maybe not play action. How about drop back?
Well, whatever it was a pass. And the Rams are on the scoreboard first. John Francis out of Boise State, one of only 3 players ever to gain 1,000 yards from that small school, puts the Rams on top.
As a quarterback, you expect blitz when you're inside the 5-yard line. As you can tell, there's absolutely no pressure on Dills, as he has plenty of time to set up, read the coverage. Everyone dropped deep. No one covered 35 Francis out of the backfield, and he got him the football for the touchdown.
And Mike Lansford will try to add the conversion, and a penalty marker is down. The kick was good, but there is a penalty marker down.
Delay, 12 men on defense. The point is good. Penalty on the kickoff.
Brett Wyatt out of West Virginia is our official, and a smile on the face of John Robinson. And Mike Lansford kicks the conversion to give the Rams a 7-0 lead here in the first quarter. Mike Lansford, who went into the game as the leading scorer in the NFC and has been near perfect as a kicker this year, will boot it for the LA Rams. And back is Joe McIntosh, who was a 5th-round pick out of the Detroit Lions this year. He's got Norman Granger and Rick Badonic flanking him. 6:25 remaining in the first quarter. It's 7-0 in favor of the Rams. No surprise so far. And the barefooted kicker Lansford boots it, and McIntosh 5 yards in the end zone. And that'll go as a touchback. Let's see that touchdown again. John Francis on a 2-yard reception from Dill.
Left of your screen, 99, Tim Green is a linebacker. Number 90, Aaron Brown is a linebacker. 93, Jim Laughlin is a linebacker. Told Dill automatically, this is not a blitz because there's too many linebackers in here. Therefore, they're going to just drop off and play zone. He knows it. He drops back. Plenty of time. Everyone goes deep. And then all of a sudden, there's a pass in the flat. And then Gary Moss, 23, missed the tackle. The zone is open when you're down there, Dick, like that. The zone is open because everyone is dropping off to support the run. Therefore, there's no one deep in coverage. And that made it very easy for Dills to get the ball to his back.
On the 20-yard line, the Falcons with their second offensive run. Gino Zimmerlink is the H-back, and Rick Bodonik is met quickly on a loss on the play. Sean Miller, Greg Meisner had started all of the ball games for the Rams, and it's good to have your big men up front. In his 4th year in a great free agent find, originally by the Redskins out of Utah State.
Miller, right in. Meisner, 69, the nose tackle, are the two very veterans that are playing well for the Rams, and they're going against the best lineman for the Falcons in Mackey, 93, the left tackle, and Jackson, 64, the left guard, so it's a perfect matchup.
Second down and 10, call it no gain on that play. Eric Kramer. This time to throw. Kramer has some time. He dumps it off. And Rick Bodonik carries it out, following the catch to the 26-yard line. A gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4, and the tackle by Jim Collins.
There's a real nice play in the National Football League, and it's called quarterback drop back, read the coverage, no one there, dump it off to the back. Who'll have the center pulling and blocking for him. So it's a screen, a delayed screen. There he is, looking downfield. No one there. Look in the center of your screen. There's the catch by Bodonik, and then 53 Henley, the center, is out pulling, leading the way.
3rd down and 4 for Eric Kramer. Boyish-looking quarterback, this time on a design rollout, and he completed pass for a first down to the 45-yard line, a gain of 29 to Sylvester Bird, the tight end. He caught 4 passes starting against the 49ers for 68 yards, and this brings the crowd of about 8,000 out of its seat right now.
Kramer doing a little bootleg, going out to the left, gives himself a little time, looks downfield, gets a little pressure, and does an outstanding job of picking up Sylvester Bird, the tight end, the only tight end they have that's starting. Now, they don't even have a backup tight end.
That's the first down of the game for the Falcons. And they're on the Ram 45. 1st and 10. Kramer is down, and it was coming in strong was Kyle Borland, the outside linebacker who sacked Steve Bono of the Steelers last week.
One of the things that scouts look for in athletes, especially a quarterback, is the ability to get away from a sack. Now you see good athletic ability by Kramer, but his tackle Mackey actually let Borland get in, and Borland tripped him up accidentally.
That'll count as a sack, and Rams, of course, say both of their outside linebackers have been inside linebackers most of their career. Borland looked pretty good there. Loss of 9, 2nd and 19. Back to Falcon territory at the 46. Kamana now back in at H-back. And the pass is caught by Kamana, the H-back, up the middle. He was wide open at the 44-yard line.
Well, the H-back in the Falcons system is the complement of the U-back in the Rams system. What he is a blocking tight end and a blocking back. They move him in motion and normally run to his side. They move him in motion and then run little options with him. That time, Kamala was able to get outside, then lean back inside, no one there, and a fine job by Kramer of popping the football to him.
3rd down and 9 at the 44 now. Winding down to 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter here in Atlanta. Bright sunny afternoon, and dropping the pass out in the flat is Norman Granger, who caught a pass for 26 yards against San Francisco last week. Starter the week before, and he was wide open. It might have had the first down. Instead, it'll be 4th down, and the Falcons will punt. Lewis Berry will kick from the 40. So an Atlanta opportunity goes by the boards. Craig Rutledge goes back for the Rams. High kick should give the coverage a chance to get down, and Rutledge in his crowd fumbles the ball at the the 22-yard line. We'll wait for the official call. And the Atlanta Falcons have recovered a fumble. Well, Terry, that's one way of getting the ball back. And it was recovered by Tim Green.
Well, Marion Campbell in the center of your screen said, look, our replacement guys have played pretty doggone good. It's just the fact that we've gone up against teams that have veterans in there, and it's kind of a mismatch. But it takes breaks like that to give a replacement squad all the life they need to hopefully put this thing in the end zone and tie the game up.
So after a drop pass by Granger wide open, they get a break when Rutledge fumbles, and now the Falcons with their best opportunity for sure in this first quarter. They have a 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line of the Rams, trailing L.A. 7-0. And Badonic, and they had a mix-up on the handoff and another fumble, and this time the Rams have recovered.
Well, why come out and run the football when you know the way you're going to move this against the Rams is by throwing the football? And I'm surprised that time it'll run. Why not come out and play action? You've had guys wide open all day long. Continue doing that. Kramer reverses, hands to Badonic. Badonic doesn't have the football, and it's a fumble.
Rick DiBernardo recovered the fumble, but you notice how John Robinson gave a pat on the back to Craig Rutledge. That's why Robinson handles his players so well. Back-to-back turnovers, and the Rams with the lead have the ball again on their own 22-yard line. So a fumbled punt by the Rams, and then a fumble on a mix-up on the handoff. And Steve Dills in charge again. John Francis and Cullen Bryant on the running backs. And Charles White sits this one out. Dills fires to Francis off to the side, and Francis fights his way to the 25-yard line. Gain of about 3. And now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York. Brent, what's going on?
Well, Dick, let me update the Bears situation. Mike Hohensee not playing because of an injury. Steve Bradley steps in. He's the former Indiana quarterback. There's a touchdown pass to Chris Brewer. Remember now, the Bears could be 5-0. They lead by 10. Back to Dick.
All right, Brent, 2nd down and 7 at the 25 for the Rams here. Charles White back in there now. Once again, a full house backfield used by the Rams, and Charles White to the 28-yard line. Gain of 3, and Buddy Moore makes the tackle. Let's take a look at the Rams and how they have increased their productivity on offense. Well, in the first 2 weeks, they were doing exceptionally well in rushing yardage, but look how much they've improved their passing and total yardage. That's a credit to Dills and I think Mobley in their wide receivers.
Also a credit to the fact that they're playing against inferior talent.
Well, if you have most of your guys in, or at least 11 as they have, that's a big edge. 3rd down and 4 at the 28-yard line. Dills in the crowd, incomplete. Pass was intended for Joe Rose, who was just signed by the Rams this week, and he will be there when the regulars get back in force. Rose, a veteran with the Miami Dolphins. He's going to be there, and of course he has a lot of experience.
They like Rose because the thing that Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator for the Rams, likes to do with his tight end, Kellen Winslow, when he had him in San Diego, was take him and cross across the field, use the tight end to run across, read the coverage, and sit down. Rose has that kind of ability.
Hatcher with the kick. Milton Barney has it at the 37-yard line and is tackled immediately in a fine special teams play by Greg Williamson of the Rams. That incompletion, by the way, by Dills was his first of the ball game. So now the Falcons, with 1:15 remaining in the quarter, have it. 1st and 10 on the 39. Have you seen a better day at this time of year anywhere for football?
It's a beautiful day, whether you're playing football, watching football, or whatever you're doing. Hey, if you're alive, it's a beautiful day. You know what I mean?
That's for sure. Eric Kramer at the helm. Kamada is the H-back, and Rick Badonic now goes in motion to the right. The pass to Badonic. DiBernardo chases him and knocks him out of bounds, but not before Badonic crosses the 45-yard line. Rick Badonic was a 7th-round pick last year by the Redskins. He played in 6 games before he was sidelined by a hamstring pull and made the last cut for Joe Gibbs this year.
Hardest pass to throw for a quarterback is when he drops back and has to hit a back coming out of the backfield on a swing pattern. He has to have the vision to see if there's going to be a collision And then the very key part of this is leading the receiver to catch it so it's full steam ahead. That time the ball was thrown behind Badanic.
Under a minute to go in the first quarter. 2nd down and 2 on the 47. Badanic straight ahead, fights, and close to a first down. He's trying to get to midfield. Let's see where his forward motion is stopped. On defense for the Rams, Jim Collins and Kyle Whittingham.
Excuse me, Dick. Got the first down there.
Tough yardage.
Badanic's an interesting case coming over from the Washington Redskins, and there's a place for a back like him who has the ability to not only run with the football, but be smart enough to read coverages while he's running and catch passes. And I believe Marion Campbell likes him a lot. He kind of hints that he's one of these kids they might want to take a little longer look at once everything gets back to normal.
Good short yardage runner in Washington. That's the end of the first quarter with the Rams in front.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Cadillac Motor Car Company. Discover why the only way to travel is Cadillac style. And by Allstate. Leave it to the good hands people to insure your home, your car, or your family. You're in good hands with Allstate.
We start the second quarter here in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw. The Rams lead at 7-0, but the Falcons have a 1st and 10 just shy of midfield. Eric Kramer, their quarterback out of North Carolina State. Rick Badanic carrying the ball with one hand. And it breaks a couple of tackles inside the 30 and out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Rick Badanic with a gain of 30 yards. Proving he can go outside with the best of them as well as get the tough runs inside.
Most of these kids, one of the comments that comes out of their mouth is, we want to be on film. We want to be on film, meaning we want to have the opportunity for other teams to see us at our best, hopefully to enhance our professional careers. Badanic catching the ball well. Now you see the power and the speed as he breaks tackles and goes down the sideline for a first down.
Kyle Borland and Kirby Jackson combine to make the stop on Badanic, who holds the University of Maryland record for touchdowns career-wise and in a season. And Atlanta once again knocking on the door. 1st and 10 on the Rams 20-yard line. And here's Badanic. They almost had a mix-up on the handoff there, and Badanic got about a yard. He was a little bit ahead of that handoff.
A little bit ahead of it, but the thing that happens when you get a big play like that, you get your adrenaline going, Dick, and automatically in the huddle, you're hoping the coaches will call his number again. You're thinking, boy, this thing's really working good. We'll run him again. We'll go back up inside. We'll get 4, 5 more yards. And now everybody starts believing they're going to move the football and beat these Rams.
Well, last week, the 49ers had a 20-0 lead at the half, and Bill Walsh had to bring back Montana and his big guns when the lead was cut to 20-10. So
that hurt, didn't it?
It did. He wanted to rest them, and the Falcons have shown they can come back. And a penalty marker down. A play-action pass is complete to Lenny Taylor. Taylor down. May have first down yardage inside the 10-yard line.
Moving.
And that'll be nullified. Reggie Richardson made the stop. Would have been close to a first down, but the penalty will be against the Atlanta Falcons.
What happens is you get one guy with his hand down. He picks it up when another guy goes in motion. You can't do that too many.
2 men moving. Number 33. 2nd down.
Rick Badanic, understandably anxious.
Understandably so.
And eager.
A nice job that time, even though it was the play was nullified. A good job by Kramer coming out and getting the ball out there to Taylor and letting Taylor do a little work on Richardson. Not bad.
Good fake to Badanic on the handoff, but instead of close to first down yardage, we have 2nd and 15 for the Falcons back to the 24-yard line of the Rams. We lead it 7-0 early in the second quarter. And a fake handoff, and a slant pass is complete, and the pass complete to Milton Barney, and Milton Barney in there. Now let's see where they knock him out of bounds at the 1-yard line. A 23-yard gain to Barney.
Oh, excellent call. Excellent call. Simple little slant. What happens? Barney comes underneath the cornerback and behind Borland, the linebacker, and Kramer zings it right in there, and then it's just a foot race. A little work inside, a little work outside, and Barney showing he has the ability, once he catches the football, to take it north and south, meaning toward the goal line.
And it's 1st and goal at the 1. Milton Barney, who made the final cut of the Falcons this year. Badanic again. Joe McIntosh to the backs, and it's McIntosh, and he got over.
Oh.
So far, no signal, and it looked like the Rams had undercut him. Looked like Joe McIntosh was going to fly in there like Sam Bam Cunningham used to for USC and the Patriots.
Steve Crosby, the running back coach, told McIntosh, we need someone that can score touchdowns and get us first downs. I don't care how you do it. So Joe, who's never done this, jumped 2 times last week over the 49ers for crucial first downs, and now he has a nickname in the National Football League, Jumping Joe McIntosh.
Kyle Whittingham on the stop. Second and goal on the 1-yard line. Once again, McIntosh giving ground, goes in for the score. And a penalty marker is down as well as McIntosh scores. And let's see if the Falcons aren't guilty for holding, and they're pointing all over the place. Ed Zeman.
Holding, number 66.
And can you imagine that? A holding penalty. You see on the right side of the line?
Second down.
Randy Clark, the right tackle, number 66, called for holding. That's a shame there, because that was a well-executed run. Well, it may not have been so good had Randy Clark not held. Let's look at it. Right tackle. 66 coming out, gets his hands around the defensive end there. As you can tell, Alvin Wright seals him off inside, and then, of course, no good. Holding, bring it back. Here we go again.
And you know, you're so right, Terry, because a lot of times they say, Joe, it's too bad for that holding, but if it weren't for the holding penalty, McIntosh might not have sliced in there for the score in the first place.
That's true.
Second down and 11. So the Falcons get to within a yard, and now they're pushed back again. And up the middle. McIntosh didn't get much.
Anticipating that time, the Falcons were anticipating that the Rams were going to drop off in one of those simple little zones where they take their linebackers deep, Dick, but what they did was fake that and then bring them back up inside and blitzed. And that little quick draw you saw there will not work against that because nobody's blocking those 2 big old linebackers.
Norman Granger, number 32, is in the lineup now. Rolling out, Kramer on the run, and it's intercepted by Kirby Jackson. Kirby Jackson down the sideline for the Rams is tackled from behind at the 39-yard line by Steve Griffin. Kirby Jackson, who the Rams think have a lot of ability, was in the Jets camp this year out of Mississippi State, and Jackson has looked awfully good for L.A.
Kramer going right, sprinting right to buy time. Taylor looking for Taylor, but when you, as a young quarterback, when you get outside, look back to your left because the flow will make people overrun things. His man actually wide open was Barney for the touchdown. That time, as you can tell, Taylor falls down. Interception by Jackson.
Well, the Falcons couldn't come any closer, but the Rams answered it with interception by Kirby Jackson, and it's L.A. ball following the interception and a 36-yard run. First and 10 on the 39-yard line. Charles White off left tackle to the 41-yard line. Gary Moss, the strong safety, upends him there, and a gain of about a couple. White so far has carried 11 times for 44 yards, and last week had a big game, 166. And we have an injury on the field, and it looks like Rich Kranek, who's an NFL veteran, and he looks like he's in pain. Former member of the Eagles, good special teams player, and he is hurt. We'll take a timeout here in Atlanta. There's the Falcons bench, and there's Jim Hannafin, who was a former head coach with the St. Louis Cardinals, now the line coach.
I got on to him earlier. I said, how could you be a head coach with all this great offensive genius in you, and now you're a line coach? That doesn't explain a lot to me.
Second down and 7. Dills on a play fake, going deep, and he has his man complete to Philip Smith. Out of bounds at the 32, a gain of 24. So Philip Smith, who made an acrobatic catch against the Steelers, good for 51 yards, makes another long play, a 24-yard reception, and now the Rams have another first down in Falcon territory at the 32. L.A. leading by a score of 7-0 here with 10:47 remaining in this first half. Smith and Stacy Mobley are the wide receivers. Charles White goes nowhere. Good penetration that time by the Falcon defense. Art Price, number 52, was right in there. Boy, He just stopped that play before it had any chance to get underway.
One of the few times that so far in this game that we've seen the Rams try to pull a guard and a tackle, and you see the results. They tried to pull Taylor the right guard and Thomas the right tackle, but Mr. Price stepped up inside, knocked them out of the way, and put the sack there on Charles White.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Back to the 34. Dills again. He fires, and this time going for Smith again. And this time he has his man. Smith with a couple of terrific catches, has great hands, and that'll be another first down for the Rams at the 16, a gain of 19.
Well, they've got the isolation they want. A receiver out there one-on-one. Huff, 28's got him. But as you can see, Smith just turns him every way and then loose. And then I don't understand what Huff was trying to do. He ran underneath Smith but made no attempt at knocking the football down. Makes no sense to me.
Oddly enough, there are a lot of former Eagles playing for Marion Campbell. Will Smith, playing for the Rams, played for the Eagles and started for them last year before he broke a hand. First down and 10 for the Rams. And here is Charles White. Wide open up the middle, fumble, and I think LA still has it. Let's wait and see. White coughed it up at about the 5 and lost it at the 6-yard line. And it was Tom Taylor who made the reception or the fumble recovery, the right guard for the Rams.
White back by himself. As you can tell, everyone angling to the left. He reads the nose tackle, and once he sees the nose tackle go to his left, he cuts back against the grain to get the big yardage, and of course took the big hit and made the fumble. Read the nose tackle.
Big hit by Tim Green. Forced that fumble, but Taylor, the right guard, was alert. 2nd and 2 at the 8-yard line. And here's Cullen Bryant carrying, and Bryant close to a first down, and a penalty marker is down. Cullen Bryant, the assistant strength coach, and this penalty is against the Rams. And interestingly enough, Terry, Cullen Bryant, who is no longer playing now, says he feels he has the ability to play, so he wants to come back and play after this experience.
Well, he played 10 years with the Rams, went to Seattle for 2 years, came back.
Illegal motion, number 73, 2nd down.
Came back for a couple of years as strength coach for the Rams, and one of the things I wanted to know is why he came in, and he said he had talked to the Ram players, and they all in agreement, say, go on in, Cullen, we're behind you. Then I said, well, what if they hadn't been behind you? Would you have gone in then? And he says, well, I'm just awfully thankful that that wasn't the situation. Cullen Bryant.
Now back in the trenches. The penalty was against Thomas. John Francis is in at running back. The lone back, number 35. 2nd and 7 at the 13. And Dills throws the ball and a mix-up. Mobley had a sideline pattern when they were looking for a down-and-out situation, and it's incomplete. 3rd down and 7 for the Rams.
What happens here is a quarterback and a receiver read the corner that presses the receiver. If he plays off, if the route goes deep, then what the receiver does is break it off. If he presses, then a short route goes deep. Dills thought he pressed. He threw deep. The receiver said no. He broke out. Mass confusion.
Somewhat understandable even after 2 games. Charles White back in there at running back. 3rd down and 7 on the 13-yard line. And now Dills doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout. So the Rams call the first of their 3 allotted timeouts in the half. 8 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, and you can see Dills going over to talk to Philip Smith. Maybe that's where he wants to go when we come back. We'll see. Hey, Terry, before we broke for the commercial, Dills went over to talk to Philip Smith.
Well, it's a setup. A lot of times I'd go to Swan or Stallworth and talk to them. The defense would watch me, and they'd say, boy, he's going to throw something to him. The whole time I was setting him up, I was going to throw it to the other guy.
Let's see what they do on 3rd down and 7. Dills looks the other way. You're right, and he completes it to James McDonald, the tight end, who's going to go in for the touchdown. And wouldn't you know, they telegraphed it, and they went the other way to James McDonald, the tight end. A 13-yard pass and run, and the Rams score again.
This is a fake sprint right. Make everything look like you're going to throw to the right, and it's called sprint right, or 238 throwback middle screen to the tight end. As you can see, Donald McDonald, 87, comes back across the flow, picks up his blockers. Good job by that, and then a good job of running and gets into the end zone.
McDonald is a player who's going to be around for the Rams in a while, for sure. Lansford, and the kick is good, and it's 14-0. James McDonald, on and off that roster the last 3 years, did not play football at USC, was a power forward on the basketball team, and has been a gleam in the eye of John Robinson for a long time.
Well, you have, as a quarterback, you can look. As he comes out this time, you can ask yourself, why didn't Dills throw to Smith? We had his arm around him and everything, but look at Smith, top of your screen, number 88. There's the play action to White, and there's Smith. Look at this. 2 guys on him. One inside Norris and one outside Huff. No way, baby. Throw back. McDonald, touchdown.
So the Rams fake the Falcons out, and James McDonald, who caught a touchdown pass last week against the Steelers, does it again.
Now that 238 throwback middle screen that you just saw was the same play that Ernie Zampese used against the Steelers in the championship game when we played the Chargers, and Kellen Winslow caught 2 of those babies for about 150 yards.
You would know, you were there.
We copied it. We took the play they had and used it. We loved it.
Lansford will kick off for the Rams, who now lead at 14-0, and there is the scoring drive. Dills now has completed 6 of 8 passes and has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Joe McIntosh is deep for the Falcons, and a line drive kick is fielded by Badonic. Badonic running it back and carries it to about the 20-yard line, and that's where the Falcons will take over 1st and 10, now trailing by 2 scores. Well, next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern Time, CBS Sports presents truly one of the great rivalries in college football. The USC Trojans under new head coach Larry Smith against Lou Holtz's 11th-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, led by the player many consider to be the Heisman Trophy frontrunner, Tim Brown. Can he run back those kicks?
Only 1 catch yesterday, though. 1 for 6 yards versus Air Force.
But he ran back another long one. That's a classic rivalry, Notre Dame and USC, next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, right here on CBS Sports. On the 21st and 10 Falcons, Kramer has Badonic, takes the handoff, and the pass is caught by Lenny Taylor, and Taylor will have a 1st down to the 35-yard line, a gain of 15.
As you can see, good job. Kramer coming out now, play action passes. Badonic staying in, helping out, and then you can see Taylor, 92, reads the coverage, comes underneath, slows down, and gives Kramer a big, nice, wide-open target, and he makes the catch.
Up to the 35-yard line, a pickup of 15. Kamana is the H-back, goes in motion, and Badonic gets a couple of tough yards. Badonic signed with the Falcons after the first replacement game, and he's brought down there by Alvin Wright. Nose tackle lined up at left end the last 2 games. They thought he was going to play the nose, and now back at end out of Jacksonville State.
Well, he's playing it in because Meisner, 69, is a starter at nose tackle, although Wright is a nose tackle. Boy, just think how much better they are in this game with Wright playing in, Meisner and Miller.
2nd and 6, and Kramer has to get rid of it in a hurry, and he does. And the pass is complete to Sylvester Bird, the tight end, Nolan Cromwell on the stop.
Because he had so much business for them.
McIntosh carries, and McIntosh close to a 1st down at the 45-yard line. The interesting thing is he says he wouldn't have played for the Giants in these games. Under
No way, because that would have been, you don't do that. That's like rubbing it in. He wanted to make sure he could play, and then he wanted to move on and go somewhere else. I'll tell you, another nice thing about talking to these guys, and it kind of makes you feel your age a little bit, was when we got through talking to him, he turned to both of us and said, gee, I hope I gave you guys enough information. I really want to apologize if I didn't do a very good job. I'm not used to talking to announcers.
He did fine. You can see how close the Falcons came, and the crowd would want the Falcons to go for it.
Sure.
They were short by a few inches, and so Lewis Berry will come in the ball game to kick it away for the Falcons.
Why not? Last game, last replacement game. You haven't won a game yet. You've played good. Why not take a little shot at 4th down and 4 inches?
Craig Rutledge, who fumbled away the last punt by Berry, he had back-to-back turnovers, and then an interception by Jackson for the Rams.
Bad kick.
Rutledge at the 19. He turns the corner, might pick up a few, and he can't. And he is ridden out of bounds at the 25-yard line by James Hall of the Falcons. Kick of 37 yards. Well, the Falcons had a great chance. 1st and goal at the 1. They couldn't score, and now the Rams are up by 2 touchdowns, 6:11 remaining. You don't think that guy is anxious to get in the fire a little bit, regardless of the fact of the score 14-0. Jim Everett, and who knows whether John Robinson may call on him late in the game just to get in a little work. In any event, there is Everett, the only player that the league allowed because he actually physically crossed by the Wednesday 1 p.m. deadline. First and 10 for the Rams on the 26-yard line. Leading 14-0. Charles White finds a big hole, can do what he wants, and White very nearly has another first down. Let's see how close he comes. And now for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Well, Dick, you and Terry watch this. The Saints are going to pour in, and they're going to block the punt, but they won't get the touchdown. Watch the man go tackle the punter. Illegal use of hands. And the Bears get a first down. Back to Dick and Terry.
Tough break for the Saints. And right here, the Falcons have had their share of them. 2nd and 1 as White was short by a yard, and here is Cullen Bryant. And Bryant has the first down for the Rams at the 37-yard line. Jim Laughlin making the tackle.
Laughlin, and talking to Jim Laughlin, 93, the right inside linebacker for the Falcons, said, don't you feel a little bit strange playing against the Rams after you played against them last year? You were playing against the Falcons, starting for the Rams in the 6th game. He said, I have been cut 6 times. He said, I don't think anything of it. I'm just out here having a good time. Got a little chance to make a few bucks.
That's why he's there. He's been around. Play action on 1st and 10 at the 37. Bills waits too long and is dumped by Buddy Moore. So Buddy Moore, out of USFL, 2 titles with the Stars, now has 4 sacks in 3 games. He's been outstanding up front for the Falcons.
Excellent job by the pass protection here for Dills. A little play action, as you can see, to Cullen Bryant looking around to the left. No one. Looks to the back. No one. Goes back across the middle. No one. Excellent coverage. Dills gets sacked by Moore. As you said, 4th sack. Hey, maybe he's impressing these coaches with these 4 sacks. That's leading the team.
That's as good as anyone has done, even on the regulars last year. 2nd down and 16, loss of 6 that time. Bills on a draw play to Charles White, and White breaks a tackle and guns his way to the 42-yard line. A gain of 11. He's shy of a first down by about 6 yards, and a good run by White. Tackled by Art Price and Gary Moss. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw were at Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, and the crowd seems to be more than the 8,000 they had last week. They expected 5, and it looks like the good weather brought them out. They know that the regulars will be back next week, and the Rams lead at 14-0. 2 touchdown passes by that man, Steve Dills, to tight end James McDonald and running back John Francis. Falcons have had their chances. They had a 1st and goal at the 1 and couldn't score. 3rd down and 5 here with 3:41 to go in the half, and the pass is incomplete. It was intended for Samuel Johnson, and it'll be 4th down, and Dale Hatcher will come in and kick. This is the story of the game. Dills, who has been outstanding, completed 13 of 19 last week. White with 71 yards. And 2 tough turnovers by Atlanta, including an interception when they were threatening to score. Milton Barney goes back, and Hatcher kicks a beautiful kick. And a penalty against the Rams. Running in to Barney, Greg Williamson ran right into him, and that's going to be a break for the Atlanta Falcons. A 36-yard kick, and Barney was back there ready to kick, receive it. And Williamson just ran right into him.
There's several types of kicks. There's a kick where the nose of the ball turns over.
Number 43, interference with the right to catch a free kick. First down.
Okay, now one of the keys, is there a signal for a fair catch? No, there is not. But he got in his way of making the catch. You can't do that. You have to give him that step.
Fair catch has nothing to do with this.
No, not at all.
He has the right to field.
He has a right to field the football, and then in the judgment of the referee, he did not. So therefore, they threw the flag on him.
1st and 10, and with the 15-yard penalty, move it up to the 40-yard line, 45-yard line. Let's see where they spot the ball.
Whoa.
38-yard line. All right.
Gave him too much. Going to move him back 1 yard, reset this baby, and here we go again.
So no give-backs in this game.
No, none whatsoever. The games aren't going to be given back. Nothing is given back.
Right.
Everything in the last few weeks has been taped.
1st and 10 at the 38. Eric Kramer, been the quarterback all the way. Has a lot of time to set something up, and he's going to go deep, double coverage, and the pass incomplete. Milton Barney was the receiver downfield, and the Rams had that covered well. Craig Rutledge was back there.
Well, the key to being able to throw the ball deep, number one, deeper patterns take longer. As you can tell, the nice job that way by Clark, the right tackle, 66, and Sendon, the right guard, 65. All of these guys did a good job of allowing Kramer to set up and then throw the football down the field.
Ball at the 38-yard line in Falcon territory with 3:20 remaining in the first half. Rams 14, Falcons nothing. It looked as if the Rams were very anxious to get to the quarterback.
Well, they've played a pretty soft defense so far, Dick. They haven't blitzed.
False start, number 64.
And all the pressure.
Second down.
All the pressure that has been put on Kramer has come from the front three of Miller, Meisner, and Wright. The two ends and one nose tackle, and no linebackers whatsoever. That time, bring the linebackers up, making it look like they were going to come that time with a 5-man rush by sending both of the inside linebackers.
Lawrence Jackson, the left guard. 2nd down and 15.
Blue 90. Blue 90.
Ball at the 33-yard line. Kramer dumps it off and goes through Badonic. Hard pass, and it'll be 3rd down now for Atlanta. Their best opportunity came when Badonic on the first play of the second quarter rambled 30 yards, and then Milton Barney caught a 23-yard pass by Kramer, and Marion Campbell's club had a 1st and goal at the 1, a penalty, and ultimately an interception by Kirby Jackson into that threat, and that's been the only real threat by the Falcons. They've had a couple of forays, though, into Ram territory. Kramer's numbers so far, they're 1 of 5 on 3rd down situation. They need 15 yards here. Kramer passes incomplete, intended for Barney, and defensed on the play by Kirby Jackson. So it's 4th down. Lewis Berry will come in to punt the ball with 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Berry will punt for the 4th time, and there is Craig Rutledge back for the Rams. Gets it away, good high kick. And Rutledge, not too much room, is out of bounds at the 32-yard line, knocked there by Leon Thomason. Punt of 38 yards. Well, next Sunday when the regulars come back, no more replacement games. The NFL today begins at 12:30 Eastern time. Then it's the San Francisco 49ers against the New Orleans Saints. And that should be an important NFC West game. Or some of you viewers may see the Atlanta Falcons against the Houston Oilers, who going into today's action, surprising leaders in the AFC Central.
49ers and the Saints, a division game, kind of hard to come right back, start playing football against your division rivals.
Pitch goes to Charles White, cuts back inside, and White to the 35, picks up 4 yards there.
82 strike, we came back, Steelers that is, and we had to open our game up against the Oilers in Houston. One of the hardest things to do was to get ready for an arch enemy after having a 7-week layoff, and very, very difficult to do. And I would prefer, of course, playing the Rams or even the Falcons and other teams in the NFC rather than the AFC team.
How'd you do in that game?
We won pretty big, I believe.
See?
Yeah, see?
2nd down and 6. Charles White outside, has a good hole and gets to the 40-yard line. Aaron Brown makes the tackle, shy of a 1st down by about a yard. Charles White had a career high last week and led everyone in rushing, but some of those names are not household names, are they, Mr. Bree?
Chuck Banks, I've never heard of. Mike LeBlanc, I've never heard of. Dwight Beverly, I've heard of the Beverly, but not Dwight Beverly.
Randy, right?
That's right.
Randy Beverly. We are down to 2 minutes to go in the first half. 2-minute warning is in effect. Rams have the ball and the lead. Whoever expected mid-October, you get a little suntan, but you can't here in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium because we're close to 80 degrees. 76 when we started the game, and it must have gone up since then. And it's just a football game.
If you don't like your seat, get up, move around. Lots of empty seats here.
3rd down and 1 for the Rams. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Guess who? Charles White. And White very close inside to about the 38-yard line. Tim Green making the tackle. And I want to remind you, coming up at halftime, NFL Today, Brendan Irv Cross will be in our New York studio with Ken O'Brien of the Jets, Jim Kelly of the Bills, and Mark May of the Washington Redskins. As you see the time remaining in this first half, Steve Dills has done a workmanlike job and has thrown 2 touchdown passes in this first half for the Rams. 1st and 10 on their own 43-yard line. Dills looking upfield, and he hits his man Malcolm Moore. And the tight end has a big gainer to the 32-yard line of the Falcons. Gain of 25. Mike Lush makes the tackle on Moore, who caught his first NFL touchdown last week.
This is a very tough pass for a quarterback to throw because he has to hit the seam extremely quick. That time that pass went right over number 90, Aaron Brown's head, and right between Mike Lush, number 34, the weak safety. Excellent concentration by Moore, the tight end, number 84.
On injured reserve with San Diego's Chargers last year, out of USC, and there are a lot of those USC Trojans. Mike Lush, who has been around Philadelphia, the Minnesota Vikings. And he was the guy, I think, who told us that, if by playing in these games, they're going to see us on film. And, that's the first time I ever heard any player talk about how important it was to be on film for other teams to take a look.
Meaning that when the season begins next week, there will be a lot of teams that are going to experience injuries. These guys aren't going to be in shape, hitting shape. Lush is saying, look, when some of these guys go down, I want to impress them enough by being on film. They can look at it and say, call Lush. He did a fine job in that Ram game. We'll bring him in. Gosh, he looks good.
Before we heard a boo, and the boos were directed at the Auburn band. And, of course, here in Atlanta, they don't like Auburn right now because their team
bad timing.
Beat Georgia Tech in a dramatic rally yesterday. Steve Dills completes the pass to Stacy Mobley. And it's a completed pass. He was down there, and it's fumbled, recovered by the Rams. Leon Thomason makes the stop. Rams had called a timeout, and they have 1 remaining, and so they're in a hurry to get something going to try to add to their 14-0 lead.
Well, they're not in that big a hurry. They've got 2 plays called, or they should have, but they don't. They called 1 play. They lined up in the huddle, got in the huddle. Now they're breaking the huddle again. Normally you call 2 plays, complete it, get back up and run it.
2nd and 5 at the 27. John Francis carries and goes outside, and now the Rams, with 1 timeout remaining, are exercising that now. So Gary Moss makes the tackle. 36 seconds remaining. The Rams are out of timeouts and in position to at least give Lansford a chance to get 3 more.
One of the things you can notice here is how serious is this game, and I can just from my observation and watching how they're running their 2-minute offense, it's really like we want to score, but we don't want to really score. What I'm saying is a quarterback with Dill's experience with a 2-minute offense should be able to have 2 plays called, run them, get it out of bounds. Don't run the ball up inside, but get it out of bounds. Save the time. Now they have to call a timeout, come back in, and I'll be interested to see now whether or not they run 1 play again or whether they run 2 plays and not have to huddle.
But they want to score, that's for sure.
Well,
why wouldn't they?
I don't know. That's a good question. Why? I'm just saying by the play selection, I kind of get the feeling that, they're in no hurry. If they do, fine. If they don't, okay.
Well, we may find out on this play how serious they are. 3rd down and 1. McDonald goes in motion. Dills going to McDonald. And does he have incomplete? He was covered there by Gary Moss, number 23. Tim Green out of Syracuse. Big winners over Penn State yesterday. And look at the pursuit.
99 Tim Green, a down lineman as well as a linebacker. Excellent job of coverage. Look at Green stride for stride with the receiver. Gets his hand up exactly at the same time that the ball is thrown to McDonald and knocks it away.
So now Mike Lansford will try a 40-yard field goal. Dills will hold with 30 seconds remaining. Lansford has been awfully successful this year. And the kick is up And the kick is good. And the Rams, with 25 seconds remain, add to their lead. It is now 17-0 in favor of Los Angeles. Lansford now, having an outstanding year, is 7 for 8 in the field goal department. The barefooted kicker adds to his NFC scoring lead. Well, next Saturday, it's USC and Notre Dame. Always a great game. Fighting Irish, and how revived they have been under Lou Holtz, huh?
He put a little spark under them, didn't he? Got them back, got them believing in themselves, got them hustling, got them playing good, aggressive football. A totally different Irish team I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years.
USC, Larry Smith, their new head coach.
Did you see him yesterday running the wishbone? Who would ever have believed that the Trojans would be running the wishbone? I'm used to the big, deep eye, give it to OJ, give it to White, and let him run up in there.
John Robinson used to run it that way, and John McKay before him. And, you know, there are a heavy sprinkling of USC players on this L.A. Rams outfit as Lansford gets set to kick.
Another thing that's interesting is in the college football, all these kids are wearing white shoes, and I noticed that the Trojans still wear those little ugly black ones, and so do the Irish.
That's a Penn State kicking line.
Oh, gosh.
Lansford kicks it on the ground.
Everything about that uniform, Douglas.
But Tonic on the 20 is down at the 29-yard. You'll hear from State College, PA after that one. Anyway, look at all the USC players that are on this club, and, of course, you see most of them played under John Robinson at USC, and there they are.
Well, there's an interesting reason. The reason for this is they know the system, and Robinson said, coming back with the replacement teams, it's very much the approach that I used in college. Same techniques, same everything. So these kids know that, and it's very easy for them to pick it up and apply it during these replacement games.
1st and 10 for the Falcons, trailing 17-0 on their own 30-yard line. Eric Kramer deep into the pocket, now looking for a receiver. And he finds one out of bounds to Joe McIntosh, the running back. And that'll stop the clock with 14 seconds remaining and very close to a first down. And, of course, talking to John Robinson yesterday, we asked him, did his experience at USC help him at all during these, 3 trying games with the replacement games? He says, yeah, I learned to be a lot more patient.
A lot more patient. I had to do more teaching. But the thing that really caught me, and when we were talking to him, Dick, is when he said, that game we played last week against the Steelers was the most pressurized game I've ever been in my life as a coach. Even though it was a replacement game, we had not won a game.
I was stunned by that.
I was too. I found that hard to believe, especially for a guy that played the Bears in Chicago for the NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. It was surprising.
But, it was desperation time. Here's a club that's 0-3, and they feel they have a chance to challenge the 49ers for the division title, and the replacement games count.
Sure, and look, his replacement guys have brought life back to the Rams. How about that?
Marion Campbell had wished the same would be true of the Falcons. Not to be, though. 2nd down and 1 on the Atlanta 29-yard line, and being chased is Eric Kramer, and down he goes. And a sack, Sean Miller, with good pursuit, knocks him away, and the clock stops with 9 seconds remaining. How tough it is for the Falcons can be explained in the fact that Atlanta playing its 4th home game in 5 starts. So 4 home games are down the drain already. I think only Chicago and Green Bay have played as many as 4 home games so far this season. And of course, one of those games was switched from San Francisco because of the National League Championship Series.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Falcon fans and for the Falcon coaching staff and the players, the 49er game, which was to be played in San Francisco because of the baseball playoff, had to switch sites and had to play them here. And, of course, they would just soon gone out there and lost and got it behind them and brought the 49ers in later. Why not?
They still have to play the Niners out at Candlestick Park.
Good things are happening, though. I think that Marion Campbell likes this number 10. I don't know that he'll keep him around this year, but probably bring him into training camp next year. But he's hinted that he is one of the kids, and there's only 2. He and possibly Jackson, the left guard. But Kramer is a kid he really likes his arm, likes his poise, and he might get a shot.
Looking for a Hail Mary situation with the final play perhaps of the first half. Kramer going deep, 3 wide receivers downfield, and the pass is it intercepted or caught? It is intercepted by Nolan Cromwell, and he has picked off a few, hasn't he? Nolan Cromwell, the 11-year veteran, and that'll do it. That's the end of the first half here in Atlanta with the score. The LA Rams 17.
And when you're young like that, your memory span is short, so he'll forget it quickly.
That is Joe McIntosh. Still going. Joe McIntosh breaks a tackle, and it's a foot race now. And McIntosh is tripped up. He had only one man to beat him, and it was Reggie Richardson. Reggie Richardson stopped Joe McIntosh, who almost went all the way for a touchdown as it is. It is a 70-yard return of the kickoff, and the Falcons feel they may have a shot to get back in this.
Just give me a little bit of film work. That's what these guys are asking for. If there's one way for a marginal player to make it in the National Football League, it is on special teams. Joe McIntosh, 48, does an outstanding job, breaks the tackle, lacks the real great breakaway speed, but a fine job by McIntosh.
And a fumble. Incomplete pass. And now the Rams have the ball. John Kamana.
Well, I don't understand what this is all about. Evidently,
it was a completed pass and a fumble.
I don't believe it was a completed. It happened so fast here, Dick, that I find it hard to believe that Kamana, 47, actually held on to the football and then fumbled it. Looked like to me it was an incompletion.
Well, the Falcons are certainly in doubt on their sideline, and there's an injured player down. And two injured players.
Well, 91 is Kyle Borland.
And Kamana, who caught the pass and then coughed it up, shaken up on the other side. So one Falcon and one Ram shaken up. A very strange first play as Borland is gripping his left hand.
On the left of your screen, you can see that Kamana, 47, has the foot. I can't see it. I saw the play from here, and I'm telling you, it's an incomplete pass. That's why these fans are booing, and should be Atlanta's football. No way I can see that the Rams recovered a fumble there.
Kirby Jackson made the hit on Kamana, and they're working on Kyle Borland. And now the officials are conferring, and I don't know whether they're looking at the videotape replay. Yes, they did. And after further review, they have backed it up and given the Rams the football.
Fine line between a reception and a fumble. Evidently what they're saying is Kamana had both feet down and then dropped the football. I can't see it.
Fourth turnover of the game by Atlanta. And the Rams take over 1st and 10 on their own 19-yard line. Dropped in the backfield is Charles White, the leading ground gainer by Art Price out of the University of Wisconsin, and a good triple jumper. He has jumped over 46 feet. Free agent with the Falcons last year in their camp, and a fine defensive play. Loss of about a yard on that one, so it'll be 2nd down and 11 for the Rams. Steve Dills, the quarterback, completed 8 of 12 for 99 yards and threw 2 touchdowns in the first half. The Rams led 17-0. Malcolm Moore goes in motion. Charles White trying to turn the corner, and he is stopped by Mitchell Young. And it looks like that fumble has aroused the Atlanta Falcons defense in any event. That'll be 3rd down, and the Rams are going in reverse here early in this 3rd quarter.
Mitchell Young, 71, coming inside now and teaming up with Wingate at the defensive end spot. Would not allow them to hook him, drive him down inside. The tackle for the Rams. He fought outside and took away the lane for White and made the stop. Outstanding job.
3rd down and 13 in a 17-0 ball game. 3 wide receivers. Samuel Johnson the 3rd, and there's White, and he stopped again for a loss. 3 consecutive running plays and 3 consecutive losses, and that time Tim Green made the play.
Excuse me, Dick. Tim Green out of Syracuse, a defensive lineman in college, now playing linebacker for the Falcons, coming in from the left of your screen, gets down in a 4-point stance, penetrates, knocks, goes by the back, and then knocks White down.
Hatcher kicking to Milton Barney, and the ball takes an Atlanta bounce, and it's down by the Rams at the 40-yard line. So the Falcons will have the ball in Ram territory at the 40-yard line. Let's say it may even be closer than that when we come back to Atlanta. Terrific job by the Falcons defense. 3 carries and a loss of 4 yards. And when Joe McIntosh returned the opening kickoff 70 yards, it looked like once again the Falcons were going to have a chance.
Well, they've had an opportunity in the special teams with McIntosh. Dick gave them that opportunity, but just couldn't get anything done. Turned around and Kamana dropped the football, fumbled, and the Rams got it.
So after the 23-yard kick by Hatcher, the Falcons have the ball in Ram territory again. 1st and 10 on the LA 38-yard line. 12:46 to go in the 3rd quarter. Rick Badonic on the pitch. Penalty marker down, and Badonic is stopped at the 36-yard line by Kyle Whittingham. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Atlanta Falcons and the National Football League is prohibited. And once again, another penalty against the offense affects the Falcons' drive. Now, Atlanta has had their opportunities, as Terry mentions. Let's take a look now at their last 6 possessions. 4 of them turnovers, and twice they had to punt, and twice they were in Ram territory when they started their drive. So Atlanta has had the opportunity. And now, with that penalty, it sets them back to their own 47-yard line. That's 7 penalties against the Falcons for 84 yards. Tack on 4 turnovers. 1st and 25. Eric Kramer all the way at quarterback today, and he's down. No contest. Sean Miller with his 2nd sack of the game, and the 3rd sack for the Rams.
Miller, 98, right defensive end, be coming in from the right side of your screen, just simply beats his man. As you can tell, he goes inside of Mackey, and Mackey gets in behind him automatically and makes a very easy path for Miller to go inside and make the sack. So give a sack to Miller and give a check mark on Mackey's name, because that's some film work that he doesn't want the other coaches to see around the National Football League.
That's for sure. Loss of 11. 2nd and 36. And they give it to Granger on the draw play. He gets a couple. The word on Kyle Borland, the Rams' outside linebacker. He has a dislocated elbow and will not return.
2nd and 36. You know, you don't have to throw the football for 36 yards. You can throw it for 15 or possibly even 20, because the Rams are just going to drop back and not allow you to get to 36 yards. But, you know, to run a little draw and then lose another yard doesn't really make a lot of sense when you're playing your last game as most of these guys as a replacement football player in the National Football League.
3rd down and 35, back to the 37. Kramer getting a rush in a crowd, and down he goes with another one. That's the 4th sack of the game by the Rams defense, and they've come out strong. Greg Meisner, the nose tackle, who had his 1st sack of the season last week against the Steelers, a loss of 5 more. And so now the Falcons will have to kick the ball away. Berry. And back for the Rams. Philip Smith. Smith trapped and doesn't get to the 25-yard line. 48-yard kick. And now they have to separate some of the Falcons and the Rams for the moment. Craig Rutledge, who had been the punt returner until that last kick, has bruised ribs, and he is out of there. So the injuries start to take its toll. And we'll be back in just a moment. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw here in Atlanta. Fans have their sentiment, and keep in mind that on the Friday prior to the strike, 44,200 tickets were sold for this game. And prior to the strike, 6 of the previous 9 Falcon games here were sold out. Stills, 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Incomplete, off the hands of James McDonald.
A little switch up this time by Dills. Ernie Zampese, offensive coordinator. The thing that the Rams had been doing is running on 1st down. This time, Dills drops back, takes that little 4-step drop, and then tries to get the ball in for a nice little short hook. You know, the Zampese offense takes a quarterback that has quick feet and quick hands and a quick mind. Not a long, deep drop like I used to take because I had a slow setup, but short one, get rid of the football quickly.
2nd and 10 on the 24-yard line. 17-0 in favor of the Rams. Play fake and the pass up the middle. Totally, the intended receiver was wide open. And it's through his hands, incomplete. Lush and Moss defending. Steve Dills told us yesterday that the one concern he had coming into the ball game, you remember Terry said he hopes that the events of the week, meaning 13 more prospective Rams coming in, wouldn't affect the team's performance. He says, when you see a lot of veterans coming in, you may feel that the replacement guys may want to take an early vacation. So he thought the key would be mentally ready, and he went in to talk personally to the offensive linemen and the receivers.
Make sure everything was all right, make sure everybody understood his position, but the thing he's getting out of this is much needed playing time.
3rd down and 10 for the Rams on the 24, and on the draw play, it's Charles White going to work again. He's shy of a 1st down by about 4 yards, but he brings it out to the 31 and gets some breathing room for Hatcher. Lush and Laughlin make the tackle, and it's 4th down, and the Rams will kick. Laughlin leaving the game with his shirt a bit awry, and Hatcher will be kicking to Milton Barney, number 84. High kick, Barney at the 30-yard line, and is stopped shy of the 40-yard line by Neil Hope. 39-yard kick and a return of 8 yards, so the Falcons with yet another opportunity. They've turned it over 4 times today. We're back here in Atlanta, and the Falcons going on offense, and they've had good field position in their 3 possessions so far in this half. They were on the Ram 23 following McIntosh's 70-yard kickoff return. Then their own 38. Now they're on their own 39-yard line, and they still have 0 on the board. Kramer on 1st down. Fires and gets hit, and it's caught by Sylvester Bird, the tight end, and he's got a 1st down and more at the 37-yard line. It was deflected off of a Ram player. Reggie Richardson made the tackle on Bird, a gain of 24, and look what I have here.
Same pass they've been running earlier. You're going to see Kramer coming back, plenty of time, trying to get the ball off quickly. No one open. Then he kind of uses his athletic ability. See the pressure inside. Now he moves outside, back inside, and then fires to Bird, who makes an outstanding catch. As you can tell, the ball is deflected, and then an outstanding catch that time by Bird. Whittington, 52, deflected it. Ooh.
Now Whittingham on the deflection, and here was Bird with the catch. 1st and 10 now at the 37. Kramer getting rid of it in a hurry. Kamana has it. Completed pass to the 31, a gain of 6 on the play. And the Rams are coming in strong, and so Eric Kramer has to get rid of it. Kirby Jackson on the tackle that time.
If you're going to make it in the National Football League as a quarterback, one thing you learn to do is you learn to be mentally tough. Physically tough also. As you can tell there's the pass that went down to Bird. That's the shot he took right there. The thing I like is that Kramer came back and threw on the very next play. Totally put it out of his mind and got the ball in there. 2nd
down and 4 at the 32-yard line of the Rams with 8.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. No markers, and Rick Badonic piles his way to the 29-yard line, shy of a 1st down by 2 yards. Kyle Whittingham on the tackle. We talked about Whittingham. Whittingham and Kyle and Carey are both the sons of Fred Whittingham, who is the outside linebacker coach of the Rams, who spent 8 years in the National Football League. He has 2 of his sons playing linebacker. There is Kyle.
I wonder how he decided which one would start.
Well, Carey is a lot bigger than Kyle.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much size.
Carey, you're not going to start. Kyle's going to start. But Dad.
3rd down and 2, and Badonic close. Well, it's very close to a first down. We may have a measurement here. He had to get to the 26.5-yard line, and making the tackle, Rick DiBernardo for the Rams. Looks close enough for a measurement, and we'll see what they do. You know, you talked about Eric Kramer and the courage he had in coming back with a pass. He was such a baby-faced youngster when we saw him in the meeting yesterday. Here's the measurement, and they have the first down. What was he wearing? He's out of North Carolina State. He had a Pittsburgh sweatshirt and an Arkansas cap. I mean, I don't know where he was.
Said he was collecting little souvenirs before this thing was over with, knowing that he was going to go back to North Carolina State and get his master's degree. But as I've said earlier, Marion Campbell says, I really like this kid. He has a good, strong arm, and he has a good presence about him and a lot of poise. He's only a rookie, and I think he's showing himself quite well in this football game, Dick.
First and 10 at the 27-yard line following Bodanic's first down. There goes Bodanic in motion wide to the right. Kramer's pass is caught by Taylor, and he coughs it up incomplete. Incomplete. Taylor was there, couldn't hold on to it. They were looking at 9 yards.
That's the same pass as you can recall, Dick, in the first quarter when they got down inside the 30-yard line. The Falcons dropped back. Kramer did, and threw a simple little button hook out there to Taylor, and it was called back for a penalty. They got down inside the 30 again. They threw the same simple little old pass, and Taylor, of course, dropped the football.
He caught 6 last week against the 49ers, and that earned him the start. Again, 2nd and 10 at the 27. Falcons have yet to score. They've been in Ram territory all day. Alvin Wright went over, and let's see, so did Miller. He was drawn off.
Encroachment, number 99.
Well, that was against the Rams.
2nd down.
That's a good job by Kramer. He's smart. He gets up there, and he was all ACC Player of the Year last year. He gets up there and says, hey, I've been going on one, set, ready, hut one. I've been doing it all day long. Now we're in crucial territory, so now I'll go on 3, fellas, set, ready, hut one. Boom, everybody jumps off sides. You know, it's those little bitty simple things that we take for granted, but cadence is such a critical part of moving an offense.
That'll make it 2nd and 5, and that's a big difference when you haven't scored in the ball game. On the 22-yard line again, Bodanic goes in motion wide to the right on the receiving end right here. Bodanic down the sideline, appears to have another first down at the 15-yard line. DiBernardo on the stop. No surprise that Rick Bodanic, who scored a touchdown last week, has really been the workhorse and the steadying influence offensively for the Falcons, considering his experience with a contender like the Redskins last year.
And he fits perfectly into the mold of the offense that the Falcons want to do. They want to come out with one back, flare that back wide, and then run those routes. And then if they're not open, throw it out there to Bodanic, who has the good hands, catches it, and gets first downs.
Taylor lines up at the top of your screen for the Falcons. 1st and 10 on the 15.
Whoa!
Rolling out is Kramer. He can run, and he's trapped, and down he goes. He did not find a receiver. Sean Miller made the tackle. And Terry, the Rams really covered the Falcon receivers awfully well.
They did an excellent job. The thing that could have happened then would have been for Kramer to come outside, and when he got outside, just kept the ball and turn up and run, because no one realized where he was. Everyone, he had fooled everyone, and when he got outside, just tuck it under the arm, get yourself 5 yards, 6 yards, you know, whatever you can get. Don't hurt anybody, then scoot on out of bounds.
There's the time, the clock running in a 17-0 game, and Falcons, who have come as close as grabbing a 1st and goal on the 1 and not scoring, have to make the most of it.
Sure, the quick slant again might be the play they want to go to. The one they had earlier, got them to the 1-yard line.
And
there it is.
Pass to Taylor, and he's got it at the 5.
Oh.
Close to another first down, and Lenny Taylor holds on that time. Holbert Johnson on the stop.
Boy, I got him like a playbook, don't I? Inside the 30, little hooks now, get down inside. Now let's throw the quick slant. Taylor coming inside, gets in behind the linebacker and underneath the corner and makes a fine catch.
And it's 1st and goal now for the Falcons. They were at the 1 and couldn't score in the first half, and here they are at the 5 with plenty of time remaining to get back in this ballgame.
All right, now run a pick. Shift that back up there, put him in motion, and pick the guy and get him out in the flat for a touchdown. It's illegal, but everybody uses it. This is a great time to do it.
When you do a legal thing that looks like a pick, right?
Make it look legal, but it's illegal. There he goes in motion.
Kamana in motion, and the pass to Kamana in the end zone, and it's overthrown. He was covered by Kirby Jackson, and it's 2nd and goal on the 5-yard line. You know, how would you like to get a headset and run these plays?
Hey,
you did pretty well at
I've got a
Pittsburgh.
feel for this now. So you get out there. Now you know what you want to do? I'd send 2 guys on one side. I'd shift Kamano up. Then I'd motion one guy in motion, take both of them down inside, and seal off the inside and drift the other guy out. They have that in their repertoire. Let's see if they run. Uh-oh, there's the 2 guys to one side. This is looking good. Touchdown.
And it is a touchdown. Milton Barney and the Falcons finally scored. And I'll tell you what, your orchestra leader
on my back.
Your orchestra leader is Terry Bradshaw.
I love it.
And it's 17-6. Milton Barney, who didn't catch a pass last week, puts Atlanta on the scoreboard.
Inside routes they come. Pick both of them inside. As you notice, the receivers inside, Barney outside. Touchdown. Fine job by the Falcons of moving the ball down. Good job by Kramer. Kept his poise, took some shots, got the ball in there, and of course the touchdown pass to Milton Barney.
Greg Davis will be the kicker. Kramer is holding, and the kick is good. And with 5 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, the Atlanta Falcons, after knocking on the door all day and turning the ball over 4 times, finally go in for good. Milton Barney on a 5-yard reception, and it's now a 17-7 game. Jim Hanovan, a fine offensive line coach before he was a head coach, talking to his club. They did the job there. Davis getting set to kick off for the Falcons, who have scored for the first time today. Casey Tiumalu and Alonzo Williams back for the Rams. In the air, and it's going to be Tiumalu at the 5-yard line. Tiumalu to the 20. And brings it up close to the 25-yard line. The tackle is by Rick Badonic, who's done the job offensively today on the ground for the Falcons. There's the scoring drive, capped by Kramer's pass to Milton Barney. Here it is.
All right, you're going to see they've already a couple passes on the inside. Now you're going to see a little slight sprint out. Bring one back inside. Notice the pick. And now Barney slips to the outside, wide open. One guy sealed off 2 defensive backs and allowed Barney to come wide open.
I knew better. I thought you played this game one time.
Picks are fun.
In motion, Philip Smith. And the give is to Charles White. And White breaks the tackle. And White has a first down. And busts forward to the 39-yard line. A gain of 14 on the play. Art Price the stop. So as long as the Rams have Charles White in the backcourt, the backfield, they could hold off anyone, and for the 2nd straight week, White has gone over 100 yards. He's 14 yards, and he's right at the 100 mark here. 1st and 10 at the 39. White off tackle, and White with another first down into Falcon territory. And inside the 45-yard line, and he gained 17 that time. So 31 yards and 2 carries here.
Going off tackle over Kelly Thomas, 73. White goes outside, notices that the linebacker is down, cuts it inside, and then the little spin move, which I've seen him do many times as a Trojan, and of course many times while with the Rams. 24 carries, 117 yards.
Pretty good day, and he had 166 last week, and White was a replacement when Eric Dickerson was a holdout 2 years ago. Not a bad guy to have in there, but Dickerson, of course, the best. Cullen Bryant and John Francis now in the backfield, and the Rams call a timeout, and Steve Dills will go over to talk to John Robinson with under 4 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter. Rams trying to get to 2-3 on the year, and we get back in earnest next week when we have the regulars back. And the NFL today will start it off at Sunday at 12:30 Eastern time, and some of you will see the 49ers against the New Orleans Saints, who are battling the Chicago Bears right now. That's an NFC West battle. The Falcons will go against the Houston Oilers, who, by the way, beat the LA Rams in the opening game of the season in the Astrodome. Dills led the nation in passing when he was a senior at Stanford. He's been around for 9 years.
Excuse me, Bill. Everybody, when they go to Stanford, leads
That's right.
the nation
You're
in
right.
passing.
I should have said, Dills went to Stanford and then it ended it there. So then people at home would say, and led the nation in passing, and the answer is yes. Cullen Bryant in the ball game. John Robinson, who said this week he thinks his team may have a break because of the timing of this thing, and we'll tell you why after this play. 1st and 10 for the Rams on the Falcon 44. And here's John Francis. And Francis gets a first down and down the sideline and wrestled out of bounds by Gary Moss. And all of a sudden, the offensive line opening up huge holes for the Ram running backs. That time, Francis with a 24-yard pickup.
Well, it's just a good job by Francis. Nothing fancy about this. The guards and tackles just going inside. Cullen Bryant, 45, the key block, sealing off the inside, and then Francis just did the rest, as you can see there on your screen. Not much to it, just big holes.
Well, in 3 plays between Charles White and John Francis, the Rams have gained 55 yards on the last 3 running plays, and they have a first down on the 21, and White back in the game after a brief respite. Malcolm Moore, the tight end, in motion. On the draw here is White, and White plunges forward for a couple to about the 18. The point about John Robinson is that next week the Rams play a Monday night game against the Cleveland Browns on the road, and so he feels that'll be an edge for his ball club. He says he'll practice them Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday he'll be off. The extra day will help him. Now, on the downside of that is that the game after that is against the arch rival San Francisco 49ers, and he'll have a short week for that important NFC West battle.
Well, at least he's getting his players in. The Falcons wanted to bring their players in and practice Friday, but the players said, no way, we'll come in Monday.
Falcons weren't even so sure about Monday, but they'll be coming in. 2nd and 7 on the 18. Dills with a lot of time, runs and is down, caught from behind. Back at the 20-yard line, and it was Buddy Moore picking up a lot of sacks in this replacement football. That's his 2nd of the game.
2nd of the game and 5th of the replacement season. Another fine job of the secondary. You know, when the Rams have literally had to throw the football and move it, they haven't been able to do it. Moore, 72, the right end, comes in. Dills can't find anyone, tries to scramble, and Moore makes the sack. Originally a free agent with the Philadelphia Eagles, cut by Atlanta in this year's camp. Played well. 3rd down and 11 on the 22 of Atlanta. Less than 2.5 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dills fires into a crowd, and it's picked off. Let's see, Gary Moss, and now they say it's an incompleted pass. Samuel Johnson was the intended receiver, and Leon Thomason was covering along with Gary Moss. Dills is simply trying to hit Mobley coming underneath on a deep slant. Thomason, 25, who's covering him, trails down inside. Now let's see if it's possession. There's the catch. No catch. Left foot. No way. Thomason knocked that ball loose. A 40-yard field goal attempt by Mike Lansford here. He's already made good on a 40-yarder. And this kick looks awfully good. It's down the middle and perfect for Mike Lansford. His 2nd 40-yard field goal of the game. And he is now 8 out of 9 for the year, and the Rams extend their lead over the Falcons to 20-7. Well, next Saturday, 1:30 Eastern time, one of the great classics of college football, USC against Notre Dame. It doesn't matter what their records are, it's always a great battle, but this year both teams are playing exceptionally well. USC at 4-2 in the Pac-10. Notre Dame, the great independent, at 4-1. Lou Holtz against Larry Smith live, 1:30 Eastern time. USC against the number 11 ranked Irish, and of course Tim Brown in action. Where's that game been played? Do you know? At Notre Dame, or is it at Notre Dame? Louisiana Tech never had the opportunity to go up and play Notre Dame. No, they didn't. I would have liked to have done that. McIntosh goes back for the Falcons, and he returned the 2nd half kickoff 70 yards. But then on the first play, Atlanta fumbled it up. 4 turnovers, and they're trailing 20-7. Mike Lansford kicking off for the Rams. I think a lot of schools would have liked to see you go play in their arena. And
on the ground. The kick picked up by Darrell Oliver, and Oliver brings it out shy of the 35-yard line. A first look at Oliver, a rookie out of the University of Miami, and an 11th round pick by Seattle before he was waived. Speaking of Seattle, big lead. Green Bay ahead of Philadelphia. Cleveland Browns getting set to make things interesting for Houston in the AFC Central. New England on top. Close game between the Jets and the Dolphins. Tampa Bay leading Minnesota and Chicago with a 1-touchdown lead over New Orleans. First and 10 on the 34-yard line. Atlanta in their own territory. Kramer steps up and drills the pass, and it's caught. And let's see if it's fumbled. It is a fumble after the reception. DiBernardo picks up the ball for the fumble, and the catch by Milton Barney. So it's penalty marker as well is down. And right now the players are in suspended animation to see which way this will go from Fred Wyant. Reggie Richardson made the hit for the Rams, their left cornerback.
Illegal block in the back.
They're not real sure. Little smile there.
When they flick that mic on, we'll get it now.
Illegal blocks after the fumble recovery, though. It's definitely a fumble. Barney, who made the touchdown reception earlier, comes back on a deep crossing route. As he comes off the line of scrimmage, he'll drive down about 15 or 20 yards. Now he'll come all the way across the field. Kramer's going to hit him. Now he makes the fine catch. There's the hit by Richardson. There's the ball. It's a fumble. And then there you are, DiBernardo, number 53 out of Notre Dame, which we were just talking about. He picks it up. Somewhere along here, there's an illegal block in the back. That's what we heard initially.
What we understand is that I think that the videotape people upstairs were waiting to take another look at this, and now this is their second look.
Okay, he's got possession. Now, the thing they're going to look at is his feet. Did his feet go 1-2? Both feet hit the ground. If they did, well, the ball was in possession, then, of course, that is a reception.
Looks like a reception.
Yeah, it does to there. It does there. If not, it's an incompletion, and it's a Falcons ball.
But it's a post turnover foul against the Rams there.
There's the catch. Left foot, right foot. All right, that's a reception. Richardson knocks the ball out. There's your fumble. And then 53, DiBernardo, he'll come over and make the fumble recovery. There you go, right there. And now we're waiting.
It is a completed pass and a fumble. And of course, it looks as if it's going to be a penalty against the Rams after they recovered the fumble. Fred Wyant is now on the phone.
Marion, excuse me, Dick.
I was going to say, Art McNally is here. He's upstairs looking at the tape.
There's Marion Campbell wondering, well, what else is going to happen to us? Barney's praying. Look at it. Got the hands crossed. He's praying. Please don't let it be a completion. Of all the times I don't know a completion, this is one time. Please don't let it be a completion.
Yeah. Let's see if
Continue play. Illegal block below the waist. Number 47. Number 37. First down.
It was Richardson. In any event, illegal block after the fumble, recovered by the Rams, and it is the 5th turnover of the ball game by the Falcons. So another Falcon foray goes for naught, and the Rams first and 10 on the 32-yard line with just under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 20-7, LA in front. Francis going out, and the pass this time, and a fine catch by Stacy Mobley. And he is stopped by Charles Huff, a gain of 13 yards. They like Mobley a lot.
They really do. Mobley's a guy, they have a lot of speed. They like the guy that they want to take him deep. This is a good throw by Dills. A little wobbly behind him, and Mobley shows the ability to make the adjustment in the air and get one hand out, Dick, and make the catch. So not only does he have the speed, but he has the ability to adjust to the football and come down with a reception.
Out of Jackson State, he led the Rams with 4 catches for 35 yards against the Steelers. Now Charles White and John Francis in the I formation. Rams have a first down on their 46-yard line, and White straight ahead.
Charles White to the 40-yard line, loses the ball, and the Falcons get it back. And the recovery by Leon Thomason. Charles White has gone over 100 yards plus, fumbles it, and the Falcons get it back.
Gosh, how many times do you see this happen after someone makes a great run? They get into the open. Now White's in the secondary, tries to switch the ball over. He does, and now the ball just simply slips out of his hands. He knocks it out himself. Look, there's a switch. Right hand, left hand, and then he just absolutely knocks the ball out himself. Brings it up, hits himself on the chest, and knocks it out.
So the Falcons have it again in a game filled with turnovers. Atlanta on their own 35-yard line. Kramer finds the open man, Milton Barney, and Barney has the first down. Close to midfield, a 14-yard pickup. Barney caught the only score, 5-yard touchdown pass from Eric Kramer in this game. Rest of it has been all Rams. Lansford with 2 40-yard field goals, and Steve Dills with 2 touchdown scores. A short pass to John Francis for 2, and then to James McDonald, 13 yards for the other score. First down at midfield for Atlanta. Kramer has Taylor, and Taylor has the ball. 2 yards shy of a first down with 20 seconds to go in the quarter. Holbert Johnson on the stop for the Rams.
Play action, spin around, throw to the left to Barney. Turn around. That play's so good, they say, hey, let's do it to Taylor's side. Spin around, 3 steps, throw it to Taylor. Not bad.
And that'll do it for the third quarter. 20-7 the score. And there's the gun. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Rams 20, Falcons 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Michelob. So exceptionally smooth, the night belongs to Michelob. Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars. And by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
We're back in Atlanta. This is Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw, and crowd of about, well, it's hard to estimate because they're all spread out, but maybe 15 to 20,000 may be here. Kramer getting a big rush on the first play of this fourth quarter, now running for his life, being chased and goes out of bounds, and the man going after him was Dennis Edwards, and Edwards finally caught him behind the Atlanta bench.
You've got to admire the ability, once again, of Kramer. Now there's the guy coming inside, number 57, Winningham. He misses him. Now Kramer's in a foot race. Winningham, 57's after him. And now you're going to see finally Edwards says, hey, I'm going to get you, whether you run all the way up to the cheap seats. Stays with him. Kramer does a little high jump. Then Edwards just does a... Yeah, he was. He was just sitting there trying to hold on to him to keep from falling down.
Terry, don't you think Dennis Edwards would go anywhere just to get on film?
Even to the Falcons side. Maybe he's trying to impress the Falcons.
Third down and 2 at the 42-yard line. Joe McIntosh. And it's a first down.
Excuse me, Dick. Running to the left side, we said earlier, Mackey and the left guard, Lawrence Jackson, 64. Jackson, 64, actually tried out with the semi-pro teams because when he was coming to the Falcons, they told him they were going to play him at guard. So he went over there and said, I'll take my aggressiveness from defense and I'll apply it to the guard position and I'll hopefully impress someone, and he has. He's one of the players, along with Kramer, that Marion Campbell has mentioned as one of the possibilities of sticking with the Falcons.
Canadian Football League experience, also been with the Patson camp. On first down, Kramer is going up top, and it's overthrown to Taylor. Covering on the play was Holbert Johnson for the Rams. So we're in the first minute of the fourth quarter in the 20-7 game. The Rams lead the Falcons. Eric Kramer all the way in this game. Was a 50% passer in the first half. Better than that so far in the second. He has settled down. 5 turnovers have hurt the Falcons' cause. The Rams have had the possession of the ball almost 8 minutes more than the Falcons and have a big edge in rushing thanks to Charles White. 2nd down and 10 for the Falcons on the Rams 40. Rick Badani. The setback. Lamana, the ace back in motion. And the pass is caught this time by Taylor, out of bounds. Pushed out by Darryl Hall, who was just signed this week. Rookie out of San Diego State with experience in the Canadian League. An 11-yard pickup for Lenny Taylor.
You've got to come away from this game impressed with Kramer. He's thrown the ball aggressively. He's spun out. And he makes his mind up, and he cranks that football out there. And I'm telling you right now, he's got a big NFL arm, along with all the other little intangibles, it appears, that are necessary to be a quality quarterback in the National Football League.
Falcons with a 1st and 10 on the Ram 28. They send Badonic out to the right, looking one way, and the pass incomplete. Good defense there by Kirby Jackson on Milton Barney. Crowd thought it was interference, but it looked like a clean play there.
There's the press. As you can see, Barney coming down, trying to jump inside of Jackson, 36. Jackson sitting on his hip. And then as Barney comes inside, the ball is actually thrown behind Barney and allows Jackson to come in and almost make the interception.
The regular quarterbacks for the Falcons are Scott Campbell, who led Atlanta to their only victory, that over the Redskins, and David Archer. And, of course, there's always Chris Miller, their top draft choice, out of Oregon, who's unsigned, and I understand they're starting talks with Chris Miller.
He turned down $1.8 million, so I wouldn't know if I want a guy that turns down that kind of money running my football team. You can't be that smart.
Eric Kramer calls timeout, and each team has 2 timeouts remaining. Early here in the 4th quarter, Atlanta wants to get more into this game. Story of our game here with the Rams leading the Falcons 20-7. Another big game on the ground for Charles White. Atlanta has coughed it up 5 times, messing up big opportunities. But Eric Kramer has come back strong in the 2nd half for the Falcons. But every time it looks like they're about ready to break through, something happens like this.
That's right. You're going to see a good job. Barney inside, drives down deep, comes across the middle, makes a fine reception for a Falcon 1st down, puts his foot down on the ground. Richardson makes him, forces him to fumble, and DiBernardo 53 fumble recovery. So this has been going on all day for the Falcons.
And they have another opportunity in progress here. 2nd down and 10 at the 28-yard line, and plenty of time remaining. Nearly 14 minutes of this final quarter. Kramer has his man Barney, and Barney has it at the 10-yard line for another 1st down, a gain of 18. Reggie Richardson and Kirby Jackson make the tackle, and they're right inside the 10 now.
Well, you can tell just from your frame there how deep off the safeties and the corners are, allowing the receivers to run deep and come back in the middle. Hey, that's easy. That's no genius there. Now watch Kramer. There's the pass after the pass. There's the completion. He knows it, turns around, walks back, not much action, because he knows he's good. See, that's the walk of a quarterback that knows he's good.
And now he's directing traffic out there. Barney, 5 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. 1st and goal at the 9. And the pass knocked away and nearly intercepted, and Holbert Johnson would have been off to the races down the sidelines. But ifs don't count. Sylvester Bird was the intended receiver, the tight end. And it'll be 2nd down, a close call for Eric Kramer.
That play was not at all unlike the pass that was thrown earlier by Deals for a touchdown to McDonald. Sprint out to the right, throw back with the tight end dragging across. That time, a good job by Holbert Johnson to knock it away.
2nd and goal at the 9. Here comes pressure, and the pass incomplete. Sylvester Bird and Kramer had to get rid of it in a hurry. Nolan Cromwell, the veteran, right around him.
Rick DiBernardo, 53, the linebacker, blitzing from the outside. Again, got into the face of Kramer and didn't allow him time to set up and read the coverage. He was forced to unload the football, and he just threw it away. DiBernardo. That's hard to say for me.
Is that a Notre Dame?
Yeah, that's not hard to say.
3rd and goal. Joe McIntosh and Norman Granger now make up the Falcon backfield. They have 2 wide receivers, Barney and Taylor. Kramer on the run, fires, knocked away by Johnson, and a penalty marker down. Interference on the play. Taylor was hit by Holbert Johnson of the Rams. And that should be a 1st and goal at the 1 for Atlanta.
First down. Holbert Johnson, 46, will go over the back of Taylor, 92, in the left of your screen. Taylor down, gets into the end zone, drives across. There's the pass, goes up, and then 46, Holbert Johnson drives through Taylor before the ball gets there. Pass interference, first down, Falcons.
Lenny Taylor. He was there, and now it's 1st and goal for the Falcons. Rick Podonick. Joe McIntosh, roll out, pass, touchdown to McIntosh. And the crowd of 15,813 have something to cheer about here in the 4th quarter, the last quarter of replacement football as the Falcons come back.
You have to be impressed with the Atlanta Falcon team, a replacement team going against the Ram team that has a lot of veteran players in there. Play action, McIntosh out of the backfield, wide open, touchdown.
Greg Davis on a big conversion attempt. It's good, and it's now 20-14 in favor of the Rams. So the Rams are a touchdown and a conversion away from taking the lead with a lot of time remaining. The Falcons, that is. And now the Rams lead over the Falcons is cut to 6, 20-14. And there is Alonzo Williams back there with Casey Tiumalu. And Greg Davis getting set to kick off for the Falcons. Well, similar to a week ago against San Francisco when it was a 20-0 lead at halftime, and Atlanta came back to make it close. This ball is kicked out of bounds and a penalty marker. Last week against San Francisco was 20-0, and Bill Walsh had taken out Joe Montana and his big guns, and then the Falcons cut the lead to 20-10, and then Montana had to come back in the ball game, and the final was 25-17, and the Falcons coming back again today. Well, as we said, the attendance today, 15,813. This is the way the attendance comparison has been here in Atlanta Stadium. It went down, 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 and it went up here for this last game. And as I said, they sold out 6 of their previous 9 before the strike. Steve Dills has the Rams on their own 35-yard line. Charles White will lose yardage thanks to Tim Green. Tim Green, of course, went across the line, and Marion Campbell told us the other day, we're going to have to watch that situation closely. It won't go away. The best thing to do, address the issue with the regulars when they come back.
Bring them in together, sit them down, iron it out. He doesn't want anything to disrupt his football team once they get back together. Green, the only one, the only healthy one to cross the line, and is starting.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Francis and Bryan now in the backfield. James McDonald in motion. Dills, and it's tipped, intended for Francis, and a tip ball by Mitchell Young for the Falcons, and that'll make it 3rd down.
Mitchell Young, 71, gets his hands up. Dill looking downfield, hoping to throw it to a wide receiver. Notice his eyes are downfield. Notice everyone deep, and then comes back, tries to hit the back out of the backfield. But Mitchell Young, 71, was in his space, got his hands up, and knocked the ball down. Now we're looking at 99. Green, outside linebacker. The ball is deflected, comes inside, and doggone near made the interception.
Now the crowd of 15+ yelling defense, hoping the Falcons can hold him. And a timeout called by the Rams. Steve Dills goes to the sideline, and that is the 2nd timeout called by the Rams here in the 2nd half, so they have 1 left. And Dills, by the way, has hit only 1 of his last 6 passes. So, well, tonight on CBS starts with 60 Minutes. She asked God to send her to the most wretched place on earth, and he did. If you're wondering where that is, 60 Minutes takes you there. Following 60 Minutes, it's Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury, followed by the CBS Sunday movie Conspiracy of Love, starring Robert Young and Drew Barrymore. That's coming up tonight here on CBS.
Dills coming back in. You have to notice, you hear the word often mentioned is momentum. So many times it's easy to take a team for granted in the first half when things have gone your way so easily, and then you kind of let up. Emotionally, you let up. And so in the second half, you try to recapture that when the threat is coming, when they finally slap you upside your face, that being the Atlanta football team, they get your attention, and now you're recalling back that emotion, that adrenaline, all those good things that happened to you, and it's very hard to do. Atlanta's very fired up right now.
Third down and 12. Dills, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Mobley. It's fourth down, and Hatcher will come in to kick it away. And concern etched on the face of John Robinson. At one time, he had a lead of 17-0. And this is an important game. And there you see, going back for the Falcons is Milton Barney. After the kick from inside the 20. Good high kick by Hatcher and Barney to the 30-yard line. Greg Williamson put him down right there. A 44-yard kick. And a lot of time, 11 minutes and 44 seconds remaining. So the Rams, you talked about the pressure game last week. Marion Campbell is hoping his club can pull what he would consider to be a miracle, considering the disadvantage his squad has compared to the Rams.
Exactly, but his football team has played well in this half. 80, look at this, first half 80 in the second, first half 113 in the second half in passing yardage alone. So I would say look for the pass. They very much have a lot of confidence in it.
First and 10 on the 30, Taylor with a first down and written out of bounds by Holbert Johnson. And another first down for the Falcons, and they go right back to work through the air, gaining 13.
As a quarterback, when you start hitting passes, the confidence overflows, and it spreads throughout your football team. And now you come in there, and every time you call a play, you say, this baby is going to be a dandy. This is going to be a great one. And then you complete another one. Then you come back in, and you get more and more aggressive until finally you're attacking the end zone. But you tick, tick, tick right down the field, which is exactly what Kramer and his receivers are doing now.
First and 10 on the 43. Atlanta still in their territory. Trailing 20-14 to the Rams. Turned into a tough battle for the Rams. Kamana has the ball. Great catch. And put down by Kirby Jackson. And another first down for Atlanta. They move the sticks, and the Falcons are now in Ram territory.
Kamana inside running the football, coming out of the backfield. This time lines up wide to the left as a receiver. Kramer, 1, 2, 3, quick set. Come back, little play action, turns around. Same play he threw to the right. He throws once again to the left, only to a different receiver. This time a running back, Kamana.
And he gets a breather. Gino Zimmerling, the other H-back, is in there now, number 46. First and 10 for the Falcons on the Rams 44. Hey, this crowd's having a good time today. Here's Rick Bogdanek going wide, and he's not having a good time. And Rick DiBernardo, with tremendous speed on the pursuit, knocks him back for a loss on the play.
Poor read that time by Zimmerling. He should have cut up inside. DiBernardo, 53, the linebacker, had the outside position. No place for him to go. I'm sorry, Bogdanek. He should have cut up inside. There was a hole there.
And it sets the Falcons back close to midfield. A loss on the play, second down and 15 at the 49. DiBernardo has played an outstanding game defensively for the Rams. Dumps it off to Kamana. Loses the ball. Couldn't hold on. He didn't have control of it. Holbert Johnson was near him. And it'll be third down. But you're right about Kramer going to the air. In fact, his two wide receivers, Barney and Taylor, have caught 10 passes for over 130 yards between them. Second half, it's been no contest as far as the run and pass ratio.
Well, they've run only 8 times. They've thrown 24. And Marion Campbell said if we win the football game, we're going to win it throwing the football. Eventually, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Third down, 15 yards. This is it.
Timeout. Kramer stepped back, took a long look, didn't like what he saw, and calls the timeout. So each team now left with 1 timeout with 10 minutes and 1 second to go. But this is a big down coming up for the Falcons. You know, I got to think that the regulars were waiting to come back have to be rooting for these respective teams because they're coming back and they want to win. The Rams need a win to stay in the race. The Falcons need a win to stay in the race. And now we're in a situation where it's 20-14. 3rd and 15, even though a lot of time left.
Very crucial play. Keep the drive alive. Get them down. Score. Kick the extra point. They have the lead.
This is a very competitive game. Fans enjoying it. And the last minutes of replacement football. Kramer's pass is caught by Leon Gonzalez. And Gonzalez is short of a first down. They're inside the 40-yard line. He picked up 11. He needed 15. Jimmy Collins and Kyle Whittingham combined to make the stop. Crowd is urging Marion Campbell to go for it. He's not going to try a field goal, so
I go for it. I believe you're right. Right now, Kramer's 23 of 38, 269 yards, and he's got the hot hand. They're moving the football. I say go for it. 4 yards. Defense is playing well. Everything right now is in favor of the Falcons.
And they have used up a timeout, their last timeout of the game. So Atlanta's not even worrying about the final minutes of the game. If they need a scoring field goal or touchdown or what have you, calling the big timeout. Marion Campbell's playing for it all right here.
Both teams are 1 and 3. This is a division game or conference game, if you want to say that. This is a big game for them. They've got an opportunity to win. They've got a quarterback that's hot. They've got a Ram team that has had a lot of veterans who have taken an early lead in this football game. Very competitive game. And now it's getting down to the real crunch time. Crucial decision. 4th down, 4 yards. Do you go for it? I say yes.
And apparently it appears as if they're going to. You know, and they've even used up their last timeout with 10 minutes to go to do it. You know, the Falcons here, they beat the Redskins before the strike started. And mentally, Marion Campbell said we were flying high. And then they've had these home games and losses against teams with more regulars, better players, the Steelers, the 49ers, and now the Rams. And now they're going to come in and kick the ball away. They thought about it. Now my question to you, Terry, is why would you use a timeout to decide to do this? Your last timeout.
It was a decision whether to go for it or not, obviously. And they make a decision now to punt. They weren't sure. I don't believe now Kramer called that timeout just to go over and say, are you going to punt or what? I believe the coaches called it out. They talked it over and decided that punting was the best thing to do. A wasted timeout.
Lewis Berry will kick it, and Philip Smith is back for the Rams with 9:25 on the clock. 4th and 3. They're looking to get the Rams to go off sides here and get them an easy first down. That's why the long count here. It's 4th and 3. And they're waiting as long as they can, and maybe they'll even take the 30 seconds. They'll take the delay of game. They tried it.
There's no point. If you want to try to get them offside, a lot of people say, why would they do that? I don't understand it. I really don't understand wasting a timeout to make a decision to punt. Unless the quarterback Kramer inadvertently called timeout thinking we're going to go for it.
But Terry, now they just stalled to hope to draw the Rams offside. Why didn't they do that with a regular play and then send the punter in?
Now that's the point I was going to make, Dick, is if you do want to intentionally draw them off sides, get your guys up on the line of scrimmage, bark out the signals, hut, 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 do all those things, get them jump off sides. All they did really was buy some time, back the kicker up, who just pooched it up in the air about 10 yards. Oh,
fumbled by Smith inside the 25, and the Falcons have it.
That's why. There you go. Now I understand it. It was a setup the whole time. They were going to do the little pooch punt up in the air, and the guy was going to fumble it, and then the Falcons would have the ball.
Aaron Brown signed this week. And a former member of the Eagles, up in the air, a pop-up. And here's what happened to Phil Smith.
Well, a pooch punt is a ball that is punched, and the ball on the foot of the punter is laid flat, and the ball goes up like a knuckleball and just floats down, coming at all crazy angles. Very difficult to catch. It is not unlike a knuckleball.
And that's the second time the Rams have fumbled a punt away today. Eric Kramer, incomplete. He was going for Lenny Taylor. The ball is at the 23 of the Rams, so the Falcons have another chance here. Keep in mind, we have a lot of time remaining, but Atlanta is out of timeouts, and so they want to get closer now. Trailing the Rams 20-14. They are just throwing the ball. They have given up the running game totally, it seems, if you look at the ratio.
27 passes, 8 rushes, and even in that last pass attempt by Kramer, if he just settled himself down just a little bit, he's got his people open and get the football to them.
2nd and 10 at the 23. Another pass. Kramer going up on top. Intended for Milton Barney, and no penalty marker there as Holbert Johnson was defending and did a real good job on Barney.
Well, it's been an interesting matchup today between Holbert Johnson, who is actually a backup corner, now playing. As you can see inside, Barney puts the post move, goes back to the corner, and then a fine job of leading him back to the end zone by Kramer. Excellent coverage by Johnson. So what can you say? Nice pass, nice coverage, nice route, but it's incomplete.
Rams led 17-0 at the half. The Falcons have outscored the Rams 14-3 in the second half. McIntosh and Granger in the backfield now for Atlanta. And let's see whether he was drawn off or whether that's encroachment against L.A.
Well, this is something that Kramer's shown us today, the ability.
Encroachment, number 79.
And it's Marion Knight. Guilty of encroachment.
The ability to change his cadence has confused the lineman of the Rams. He's gone on 1, he's gone on 3, he's gone on 5, and each time he's changed it up, he's been able to get an encroachment call against the Rams.
It is 3rd down and 5 at the 18-yard line. They are in field goal range now. Davis's longest kick has been 42 yards. Kramer in the end zone, and Barney was back there. Kirby Jackson defending, and Kramer took a lick there, and it's 4th down as he was going for the downs on that play, and terrific pass rush by the linebacker Jim Collins there.
For the most part, the Rams have played rather soft with their linebackers, not sending them and playing these simple little zones, but now on that particular pass play, they decided to send 3 linebackers and get 6 people rushing, and were able to force Kramer to throw it out of the end zone.
35-yard attempt by Greg Davis. He's 2 for 3. The kick is up. The kick is good. And the Falcons draw closer. A 35-yard field goal by Greg Davis with 8 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the 4th quarter.
Talking to the coaches before the game, you get the impression of a preseason game. No big deal. We're just out here, you know, enjoying this last replacement game. But now this thing's tightened up, and you can see everybody's chewing the gum a little faster, walking a little faster, trying to make crucial decisions. And all this is getting them ready for the opening of the NFL season next week.
Alonzo Williams is back there. Casey Tiumalo also there as Greg Davis gets set to kick. Tiumalo at the 5. Runs into a brick wall at the 20. And you know, to many people, after what's going on, next week is indeed the opening of the NFL season for all intents and purposes.
Well, really, that's how you have to look at it. They've had 4 weeks off now, and they've lost that feeling. You know, you get out and play, and you have a preseason and training camp, and you build up to the opening of the NFL. Well, now you've got to build up again.
Well, next week, of course, we will have played 5 games on the schedule. 49ers in front, New Orleans a game behind, and both the Rams and Falcons 2 games behind. That shows you why this game is so critical. 1st and 10 LA on their own 21. Bills pass. penalty marker down. Interference looks like Malcolm Moore, the tight end, was covered by Aaron Brown downfield. Fred Wyatt will give us the call.
Same pass earlier, we saw that McDonald made the fine catch with Brown in hot pursuit. This time looks like they're going to call this against McDonald for interfering.
Pass interference, number 90. Pass interference, number 87. No play. Push down.
Offsetting pass interference. Well, why not? You're going to see on the right of your screen, Dill sets up, fires down the middle for McDonald, 87, who reaches over the back of number 90, Aaron Brown, who I guess pushed off of 87, McDonald.
But it was Moore. It was not McDonald. It was Moore, number 84, who was downfield. The officials had that wrong. In any event, Dills is just one of his last 7. Offsetting penalties, as you say. First was 10 at the 21, Charles White. And riding Charles White was Dwayne Morris.
This is the guy that's giving you the great effort today, Charles White. Cutting inside, cutting outside, piling up the yardage. So the thing that Robinson likes to do is run the football, and I think in a crucial situation you go to the guy that's been carrying the load, and White has proven he can do that time and time again, and now's the time for him to put this game away for the Rams.
And a player is shaken up for the Falcons. Looks like Mitchell Young, and you wonder why the intensity of this ball game in any divisional play, whether it's replacement game or otherwise. This is the story in the NFC Western Division. The 49ers, who are going against the St. Louis Cardinals today. In front, New Orleans battling Chicago right now at Soldier Field. And New Orleans is threatening. The Saints are in Bears territory right now in the 4th quarter, and the Bears leading 17-16 over the Saints. And this game, of course, a tight duel, 20-17 the Rams, after the Rams led 20-7. Mitchell Young shaken up for the Falcons. We said at the outset, both teams need a win to stay in this race.
Both 1-3, and especially with the 49ers running away with this thing when their replacement teams came back. 2 1-3 football teams get together. A lot of folks say, well, that won't be very good football, but hey, 1-3 will bring out the best in you.
If you want to survive. 2nd down and 6 at the 26. Francis is in there. And the pass overthrown, intended for Stacy Mobley. Leon Thomason covering on the play.
Mobley open. Dills just not able to get the football to him. A little down and out, wide open. Would have had the first down, just simply overthrew him.
Thomason, a starter against the Steelers, and now Dills. He's had trouble completing passes as of late. He's only connected on 1 of his last 8 after an outstanding percentage in the first half.
You get the impression that the Rams think the Falcons are going to score again because they're throwing the football when in fact they should be running right and killing the clock.
3 wide receivers in there. And now Dills goes to the sidelines, and the Rams have called their last timeout. I don't remember a game, Terry, with as much as 8:05 remaining on the clock in the 4th quarter when both teams exhausted all of their timeouts.
Well, in a 3rd down situation, I understand. In a crucial situation, I understand calling a timeout. We saw Kramer do it when it was in fact their last timeout, and then they came in and punted. In this case, Dills is either not sure, or his players aren't sure, or the wrong signal was either flagged in or brought in, and so therefore it's smart now because they need this first down to go ahead. There's doubt, call a timeout and get it worked out.
Next week on CBS, after the NFL Today, which begins at 12:30 Eastern Time, the 49ers and the Saints battle in the Superdome. And of course, that's another story of an important NFC West divisional play. New Orleans coming into today's play a game behind first place San Francisco, and of course they're trying to move ahead of Chicago, so it's a tight battle in that division. Of course, the Falcons will go against Houston of the AFC Central Division. Some of you will see that game, and it all begins at 12:30 Eastern Time with the NFL Today. 3rd down and 5 at the 26-yard line. Dills. Incomplete. Intended for the tight end Joe Rose, and it's 4th down. And John Robinson's team will have to kick it away.
Concern on Robinson's face is once again the pressure in Dill's face, not allowing him to go ahead and set up and throw the football to his receivers who are open.
Dale Hatcher back to kick. Milton Barney, you saw go deep for the Falcons. Both teams are out of timeouts in this game. Booming kick by Hatcher will send Barney back inside the 25. Gets by one defender and runs it out to the 33. And the tackle there is made by Greg Williamson. A 50-yard kick, and Barney brought it back 9. Rams, of course, had an injury of their own with Mike Gulman, who had been playing out with a neck injury. He is their U-back or movement back. So that's why John Robinson had to change things and use 2 running backs, use Cullen Bryant or John Francis in support of Charles White. Falcons ball, 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. In their own territory. They turned it over 5 times today. They get trailed by only 3. Eric Kramer. Barney. And Barney has it. In the middle of double coverage, Milton Barney, and a 1st down. 32-yard gain in the Ram territory at the 35 before Reggie Richardson makes the stop.
Little spin-out move once again by Kramer. Play action to the inside, turns around and throws this football. And how in the world he got this in there, I'll never know. Right in between Richardson, who finally came over and knocked the ball down. But outstanding catch by Barney.
He did not catch one against San Francisco last week. Today, that's what he's done. 1st and 10 at the 35. Falcons threatening again. Kramer again passing. The open man is Bogdanik. And Bogdanik inside the 20. Another Atlanta 1st down. 17 yards that time with Collins and Richardson making the stop.
A little spin-out move. We have probably seen Kramer do that move about 15 times in this football game. And all these times he has thrown the ball either deep or to the outside. They took that away, the Rams did, and he dumps it off that time to Bogdanik, who gets the 1st down. And
the Falcons are in field goal range. Trailing by 3, 20-17. 1st and 10 at the 19. Bogdanik hit immediately and stopped for no gain. Might have lost the yard. Alvin Wright making the tackle, and as you see, the New Orleans Saints have taken the lead over the Chicago Bears 19-7 and 17 in the 4th quarter. Bears undefeated, and the only undefeated team left in the NFL.
Bears without Hohensee, I understand, today, and Hohensee had played so well for them in the other 2 previous replacement games, so obviously they're missing his leadership.
Mike Williams, number 42, who played in 31 games with the Eagles, lines up as their lone running back on 2nd and 10 at the 19. No gain on the last play. Kramer's pass, wide open, touchdown, Lenny Taylor. Penalty marker thrown, but the way they're lining up, it is not against the Atlanta Falcons. It is against the Rams, apparently. The touchdown should count.
We have a delay demonstration. We have a touchdown penalty on the kickoff.
I haven't seen that called in a couple of years, a demonstration of enthusiasm after the touchdown by Lenny Taylor, giving the Atlanta Falcons their 1st lead of the ball game. Greg Davis will attempt the conversion. 23-20 to score. Atlanta leading, and this is a big point coming up here. And the kick is good, and Atlanta leads the Rams by 4. How did he get wide open is the story.
Well, the safeties are taught to read the quarterback's eyes, as you're going to see in this. Barney in motion. Kramer coming out. He'll look to the right. Now that Barney goes down the middle and pulls his safety Richardson inside. And then Richardson follows the eyes of Kramer, thinking he's throwing it to Barney. Then on the outside slips Lenny Taylor, 92, wide open for the touchdown. Now this is the penalty. Here's the demonstration. Up in the air, bounces the football. And the only reason they're calling that a demonstration is the fact that he hands it to another man, Henley, James Henley, 53, the center, and let him spike it. That's where the penalty was. One spike's okay, two spikes, that won't work.
And they're going to kick it off from the 30-yard line following the penalty. And it's 24-20. The Atlanta Falcons have outscored the Rams 24-3 in the second half. And Marion Campbell, he's got to be feeling elated inside. And if his club can pull off the win, and keep in mind we have 5:40 remaining, I bet it goes down as one of the great wins he's ever achieved under these circumstances.
Exactly, and Davis's extra point, as you were alluding to, is very key because now it allows the Falcons to take a 4-point lead, which forces now the Rams to have to go down and get a touchdown. And quite honestly, they're going to have to do it with Dills throwing the football, and he hasn't been that successful in the second half.
Davis kicking off. Tiumalo is back at the 1-yard line. Tiumalo ridden out of bounds at the 25 by Art Price. 5:32 to go. Here's the scoring drive, and the two wide receivers today, Lenny Taylor and Milton Barney, have caught 12 passes for 189 yards and 2 touchdowns between them.
Pretty impressive.
Both clubs out of timeouts. 24-20. Dills in the second half has completed only 1 of 8 passes for a measly 14 yards. On the ground to Charles White, and he is stopped by Aaron Brown, who's been around. He was waived by Cleveland when he didn't pass his physical this week. And you can see the contrast in games from the first half to the second half.
17 points scored by the Falcons in the fourth quarter is a telling sign. It usually means a team that is best conditioned, that wants it. That's one of those old cliches our coaches used to give us as players.
2nd and 8, ball at the 25 for the Rams. Dills intercepted. Charles Huff. Charles Huff, who intercepted a pass against the Pittsburgh Steelers, picks off another run, and the Falcons get the ball back.
This was a gift to Huff. Huff was in the right place at the right time, obviously. As you can see, Smith coming down inside, makes the break to the post, but it's not a very good route. Then he just gives up on the route, making it for an easy interception for Charles Huff, number 28. He was just standing there, and the ball landed right in his hands. There's a little play action by Dill. Play action does not allow Dills to read the coverage. Coming out, lays it out there, and then, of course, Smith, 88, did not run a good route. Easy interception for Huff.
Falcons at the Ram 42. Madonic can't break the tackle by number 95, Dennis Edwards, and now you'll see the Falcons heating up the clock as best they can.
Exactly, and with no timeouts, this is very easy to do. Get a touch. I mean, all you got now is get a first down. Eat up 2 minutes. 2 first down, we're out of here. It's easy. It's over with. There are no timeouts left.
Of course, then there's always the question of turnovers, which affect every game, and 5 turnovers by Atlanta. At one time, it was 5-1 in the turnover column, and now the Rams have turned it over 3 times. So there are 9, 3 more times, 5-4 in the turnovers. Flip it out to Madonna. Good percentage pass by Kramer.
Right, that pass is not a pass. That pass is a run. It really is designed just to get the ball out to a back and let him catch it for a 2-yard gain. Maybe he breaks the tackle and gets 5 yards out of it, but it really is a run through the air, if that makes sense. They've done it all day long and done it very well.
The turnovers, the flow of the game, the scoring, everything went the other way in the second half in favor of the Atlanta Falcons, who were trailing at halftime 17-0. 3rd down and 11. Kramer gone deep. Incomplete. They had Taylor back there. They had Steve Griffin and Barney. They could have had a meeting of the wide receivers. All they needed was their assistant coach in them.
A unique way to get to the Hail Mary with spreading your receivers out from 3 parts of the field and end up all of them being in the same place in the end zone. The new way to get there. What's the reaction of John Robinson as he says, I can't believe, what is this? He doesn't I don't believe this. This is unbelievable. We had this thing in control. We had this game won.
Berry kicking now. And Francis calls for the fair catch for the Rams. And it goes into the end zone for a touchback. 3 minutes, 16 seconds remaining. A 43-yard kick, and the Rams have to score a touchdown. Field goal won't do them any good. Trailing 24-20, and they've got to go 80 yards with 3:16 to go. And again, we'll emphasize they're out of timeouts.
Out of timeouts, have not played well, and you have to think that these players coming into this football game with all the veterans that the Rams had, a ratio of 11-1, 10 to their advantage. You feel like that maybe, if anything, they did not take this Falcon replacement squad all that seriously.
Somebody may say, where's Jim Everett? But, you know, he hasn't worked out. Dills is at least ready to work this play.
True.
Francis, the running back, on the receiving end, and he drops it. Terry, we go back to what we talked about at the beginning and what we found out from Marion Campbell yesterday. And that is when John Robinson tried to put down a list of 13 players that he thought were going to get in by the deadline on Wednesday. And as it turned out, only one new player. That bothered Marion Campbell. He's had to play the Steelers, the 49ers, and now the Rams at a huge disadvantage. It hasn't been even, and he says that's what really bothered him.
Looking at Jim Everett, he said, I hope I don't have to use Jim Everett.
Doesn't look like he's going to. 2nd and 10 at the 20. Dills finds Malcolm Moore, and Moore, the tight end, takes a few to bring him down, and he stopped just shy of the 40-yard line, a gain of 19. Clock running, under 3 minutes to go. Mike Lush and Leander Knight combined there. First down. And the Rams have to really be calling 2 plays in every hole.
They're checking. It's a check with me offense. 1 play lineup. He's calling the play at the line of scrimmage.
Bill sidearms it to Charles White out of the backfield, and in essence a gain of 1.
Ideally, what you would like to do is to force the receivers out of the ball game and force Dills to throw to his back 4- and 5-yard passes, tackle him, hold him down, and then eat the clock up.
2nd down and 8. Charles White.
Bad call.
Well, they've got to mix it up some way or not.
No, you don't mix it up. You're trying to win a football game. Running here is no good. You got to throw the football.
And they want to get another play in before the 2-minute warning.
He should. I don't know what he's waiting on. You don't want to kill the clock here. You want to get another play off. He needs it as bad as anyone. This is not a very well-run 2-minute offense.
They could have gotten a play in and then had the extra 2-minute warning like a timeout, but they don't. And now we have our break. Two minutes to go in the game here in Atlanta before 15,813, and none of the 15,000 left. They saw their Falcons trailing 17-0 at the half, and then Eric Kramer went to work. And now with 2 minutes to go and the Rams out of timeout, Dills under pressure has White into Falcon territory with a first down, and now the Rams threatening. They had a 1st and 10 on the 44, a gain of 19 yards, and they have to line up quickly here.
The passing offense is the old Charger offense. Ernie Zampese, offensive coordinator. Excellent offensive mind.
They got White, penalty markers down, and Charles White is tackled after the catch on the 34-yard line. Gary Moss and Leon Thomason combined.
Number 73.
And it's against the LA Rams, and it's Kelly Thomas, their right tackle. Want to remind you, coming up after the game, the post-game show from New York, Jim Kelly, Mark May, Ken O'Brien, Fred Musburger, and also an interview with Dan Gladden of the Minnesota Twins.
One thing I notice on the tackles being made by the Falcons here, Dick, is the fact that they're letting Charles White and these guys get up too quick. Lay on them. Hold them down. You know, there's little tricks of the trade that can kill another 5 seconds on the clock. Don't let them up so easy.
1:32 remaining. Rams have no more timeouts. First down and 20 following the penalty. Back at the 46. Bill's looking for any kind of help. Goes cross field to White. And White has it. Charles White makes a great grab when it was nearly picked off by Charles Huff. And there's John Robinson. And the clock continues to run. They're going to have to throw incomplete passes or throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock here.
Exactly. Calling the play at the line of scrimmage.
White on a draw play, and Charles White inside the 25-yard line. Another Ram first down, but key to them is the clock. We have under a minute to go. Moss and Laughlin on the stop. And there is a penalty marker down as Dills fired the ball on the ground, and the Falcon coaches are claiming that should be a grounding call.
12 men on the field.
But Atlanta had 12 men on the field, and that will be first down. It stops the clock, which is probably the biggest benefit, right?
Right, and then you can take, the quarterback can take the ball and take it and throw it straight down at the ground. That is not a penalty now. That is okay. Used to be you had to throw it in the direction of a receiver and throw it out of bounds, or throw it down the field into the end zone. That's okay. Used to be if you did what Dills just did, take it and throw it down, that's a penalty, but not anymore. Okay, first down, 5 yards, 2 plays, both of them call in the huddle. Complete it, get out of bounds, kill the clock.
Rams on the 18 of the Falcons. They need a touchdown to win the game. Dills drills it. Incomplete, intended for Malcolm Moore. And coverage by Jerome Norris and company. And when you're dealing with inexperienced players, the chance of a pass interference always looms large on those pass patterns in the end zone.
That's true. They're sitting there, people there, and they're flushing them to the outside. And the thing that is wide open here is the deep middle. If they could get someone down the middle crossing, they could get a touchdown.
Second down and 5. 42 seconds remain. Dills hit from behind by Tim Green. And the Rams have to line up in a hurry with under a half a minute to go. Look at John Robinson's concentration and concern here. Third down and 3. They actually gained 2 on that one. Dills rolling out. And he has Francis inside the 10. Good enough for a first down, but the clock is running, and I don't know if the Rams are going to be able to get it off.
7.
There you can see the time.
Pick it up, throw it out of bounds, take the penalty.
And a flag is down, and that's what Dills did with 1 second on the clock. But I saw the flag thrown before it went down.
Number 99. 99 was over.
Offsides called against Tim Green of Atlanta. Let's see whether they have 1 second or more left on the clock. Barring a penalty, we're about to see the last play, perhaps, of this game.
It wouldn't matter. It would have only been 3 seconds, and it takes at least 3 to 4 seconds to run 1 play. As you can see, White's in, checking, telling the ref, I'm back in the game. Make sure you get my number. I'm in here. Now, Robinson is holding up his hand saying 5 seconds. He says, we need 5 seconds. Like I said, 3 to 4 seconds to get 1 play off.
I think they threw the flag way before it went down to 1 second. I think the Rams have more time than 1.
1 second remaining.
They say no. That's what's left, and in any event, this is it.
Pick.
The game is on the line. One second to go. Win or lose right here. The pass, and the Falcons win it. Incomplete. The Atlanta Falcons have won it, beating the Rams 24-20. What a way for replacement football to end. John Robinson, philosophical, and for Marion Campbell, a A victory that he will cherish under the circumstances he faced. The Falcons, who were trailing 17-0 at the half, have come back to win dramatically 24-20 over the Rams.
Unbelievable. Great determination on behalf of the Atlanta Falcons. Everything against them. Marion Campbell complaining that it's not fair that our replacement squad has to go up against these guys with all these veterans, and he came back.
What about Eric Kramer, Terry?
Well, this is a kid that very simply, Campbell said, I think we're going to keep this kid around. We like him, his poise, he's got a big arm, and after today's game, you would have to think that Campbell will hold him back and bring him in with the other Falcons.
You're going to see these fans come back more. They like what they saw today. Eric Kramer, 27 completions in 46 attempts, most of them in the second half. 339 yards throwing,